Hello, hello. Welcome. I should be more awake for this, but I probably don't sound that awake. Hello. Formerly known as Kiko, I think. You are catching it live. I can't speak. You are catching this live, indeed. I feel barely alive, but yes. Give me a minute. I'll get started in a second. But I need to figure out how to view my chat again, because my chat is missing in action. Which is not ideal. I can see it in my OBS, but like very small. Any chat that I can scroll through. Google will surely tell me. Navigate menu box, view, hover to dock. View, dock. What? We do it? Obi, what is this? Oh, I think I got it. Hey, it's working. It's absolutely huge. Can I? Oh, there it is. Sorry, professional streamer, by the way. Small. I will figure it out. It's fine. Well, Kiko, I look forward to hearing your recommendation for bracket 4 commanders shortly. So today, I'm going to do what I've done so far again, which is just a lot of Q&A, really, if people have questions. But I also have to build someone a deck for bracket 4 with a pretty open brief. So I want to go and explore, and as the background for this video, or stream rather, I will explore ideally interesting bracket 4 commanders. I don't just want to build something that is basic and expected. So it's going to be trying to find cool commanders for bracket 4. Hexproof Puppy. I have not built a deck around Mutate. I had a friend, I have a friend who built a deck around Mutate. It had Chromat as the commander. Chromat is a pretty cool card. I don't know if you know Chromat. It's originally printed in, showing my age, Apocalypse, which was one of the earlier sets that I played. And you can pay mana to do a whole bunch of things, like give it +1/+1, give it flying, give it, I think, regenerate. So the idea is to mutate a whole bunch of creatures on top of Chromat. It's janky, but fun. But no, I've never really built a mutate deck. Hello, Logan. Hello, Radium. This chat is doing things. Radium, can you throw a list suggestions? You mentioned last time skipping some parts of the curve. Right about this. You're welcome to throw it at me. Whether or not I'll get to it, I don't know. Really? Okay, hang on, actually. Let me just, before anybody throws anything at me. last time this happened, I kind of fucked up my Discord. So one moment, please. I'm gonna make a channel. Let's put it in. Let's put it in somewhere. Put it in somewhere. Put it in the pond. I'm making a text channel. We're gonna call it Notice Me Senpai. Okay, we'll call it that. Okay, it's public channel. I'm gonna create the channel. Okay, there is a new channel. It is called Notice Me Senpai for streaming in my Discord. So, Iranium, you're welcome to throw that list in that channel. And if I can get to it later, I will. Hello, little Gucci-su. You guys did not waste time. You're already in the channel. Biologist, when you say which bracket does my Prismari Dragon deck fall into, do you mean Galazith Prismari? Yeah, extra property. Sephiroth is a very cool bracket 4 deck. I have a friend that plays it. Very cool. I like it. G-Tran China. For bracket 4 is CDH deck building just without the meta in mind, just pushing your commander deck to its furthest possible power. Basically, I have this, we're going to call it a disagreement or a conversation a lot about high power. As someone that, so I am, and this is going to be the first time that chat still gets away from me, I think, because I'll probably yap about this for a few minutes, but when I talk, so I, for Commander, mostly play and played bracket 3 and bracket 2. Recently, I've gotten in more into bracket 4, and I must say I enjoy it a lot. I have been enjoying bracket 4 a lot for a bunch of reasons, which I'm happy to go into, but and this is someone who typically played lower powers in Commander, because most of my friends played lower power, and it kind of just ended up where we played. But bracket 4, I think people misunderstand. They think it's weaker than CDH, and that CDH is a level above bracket 4, but that's not the case at all. CDH, as you suggested, is it just has a meta. So like, you build your deck, you make choices which actually could be subpar power choices, but they are powerful in the meta. You're going to be facing certain types of cards, decks, interactions, and you build your deck according, like any competitive meta. But I think a lot of Commander players haven't necessarily built around and played in metas other than like their friend group before. And the same way some people in Commander might go, "Oh, my friend runs a graveyard deck, so I have to have some graveyard hate." That's what CDH is doing for high power. But bracket 4 is as higher power as CDH. So really, it's just trying to build a powerful deck. Now, for me, I might not build, I might not throw Moxen and stuff in a deck unless it needs to be there for bracket 4. I still like in bracket 4 creating a deck, a bit like my Zhulodok deck, that's not probably the most powerful bracket 4 deck that you can build, but in terms of what I am trying to do, it's probably close to the most powerful thing that I can do with that deck for Zhulodok. Lots of low mana, low to the ground combos can really win on turn 3 or 4 if I get a good hand. So yes, bracket 4 is just powerful deck building with no meta in mind. Next proof copy. Chromat is, I want to get Chromat up on the screen. Hold on, as I talk about him. One moment, please. Let's get up our friend Chromat. Let's maybe change to the browsing view. Chromat. This when I was new to Magic, this was like one of the coolest things that existed. Like a creature that was Wooburg, all colors, and could do so many cool things. You could make it have death touch. You could give it flying. You could regenerate it. You can give +1/+1. You can make it safe from removal by putting it on top of your library. Like, yeah, it's just such a cool concept. And yeah, when you mutate stuff on top of this, it does become a bit of a problem. Hey Jerome, you playing in currently? Yeah, okay. Glad you're enjoying the play Discord. Oh, thank you, Radium. Okay, all good. I'll have a look at it. Yes. Quick Rhythm. It is Salubrious Snail in the background. If you don't know, so I originally started making Magic content partly because of Salubrious Snail. I, as someone who came back to Magic after a bit of a break and was getting into Commander, I was a bit rusty. I started watching some content, and he was one of the people that I enjoyed the most because I felt like he was talking about around the game in interesting ways. It wasn't just basic, straightforward thoughts. There was a bit more going on, and like I really like philosophy, and I think some of the stuff he touched on, I think, went beyond Magic, and that for me really struck a nerve. So he's basically one of the big reasons why I started making content, because I looked at his stuff, and I looked at a lot of other stuff, and I was like, well, I really like his stuff, but I think I can honestly do a better job, and I have things to say that are different enough to what Snail is doing that I don't feel like I'm just going to be trying to copy him. But he was one of the primary reasons why I started making Magic videos, and that's why there's the little picture of his logo framed in the background, because it's a nod to Snail, who I think is still one of my... I don't watch a lot of Magic content anymore because I don't want it to cloud my judgment, but he's still one of my favorite people that make Magic content. Like my Mount Rushmore for Magic content, not that anyone asked, is probably... I think you have to put the Professor up there. I think you have to put Rhystic Studies up there. I would probably put as a PNG tuber, is what you call them probably. I would probably put like the essay style content. I would probably put Salubrious the top of that category, and then if I had to go a play show, because I think Professor is like general news and general opinion Mount Rushmore. Just, how do I phrase this? Sort of intellectual style, almost like, because I feel like there's a big difference between what Rhystic Studies does and what Snail does. Like Snail's more focused on the game. Studies is more focused on the lore and the information around the game, so more essay style in that way. But yeah, so those three, and then for play, oh, it's tough. I probably have to go Brian Kibler's show, because I think that... I will catch up with chat in a minute because I realize I'm already 6 minutes behind. Because I'm just yapping. But I think that Kibler's show over the Command Zone, because whilst I love the Command Zone, and especially I think what Rachel brings to it, it's way too professionally done, if I can put it that way. It's built like a TV show, and that's fine, but if there are any esports enjoyers here, I have long followed esports. I grew up landing in my best friend's house every weekend for my entire childhood, my teenage years. Beyond the Summit is probably my favorite style of broadcast of any type, of live broadcast or packaged up content that's like play ever. And it's very rough around the edges, and it's designed to be like you and your friends just sitting on a couch talking about the games, and there's pro players playing in the background. Like, it's a really cool dynamic. If you've never... Beyond the Summit is dead, unfortunately. But I still have a big soft spot in my heart for it. And Kibler's show, I think, is a little bit less produced. And obviously he is a legend in the game. And the people he gets on his show, people like Ben Brode or Matt Mercer, the people he has been able to create a place to come and bring these people in, I think is really cool. So, Sleeper is still in the background. Yes, I'll stop yapping. Logan, you can throw it in there for sure. Whether I'll get to it or not, we'll see. A site. You're gonna play starter commander next other, and they drop in October. Ooh, very nice. Glad you're getting your friends into Magic. I will forever shout out if you want to, if they like it. I would highly suggest you throw together 4 Pauper decks. It'll cost you $150, maybe even less. Might even cost you $100. Maybe even less if you have some of the cards. But playing 1v1 Pauper, because the decks are great, but they're not that complicated. I think it'll build on their skills a lot. Highly recommend that for new players. What I think about the new starters though, the new commander starters, I haven't seen too much of them. I know they're monocolored. I imagine they're designed to be a bit simpler for new players, because I think the precons are getting more and more complicated, because I feel like the precons are less aimed at new players and more aimed at just intermediate commander players. When I say intermediate, I mean people that have been playing for a while but still aren't that good at the game, or more casual and just want to buy a deck and just play it rather than having to think about building one. So yeah, I think good. TLDR, I think good. I think it's good that those exist. I don't know how big the market is for brand new players buying a deck though in Commander. I think they're probably still just going to buy a precon, especially because it'll probably be a Universe Beyond precon. Although saying that, shout out to Strixhaven and what the hell was the set before it? There's been too many sets. My brain is mulch. Shout out to Secrets of Strixhaven and man, hold on. Magic sets 2025? 2025? No, it's 2026. It is 2026. Lowen. My god, my brain. Fake fan. Yeah, shout out to Lowen and Strixhaven for having record sales. Universes Within's coming back, baby. For Clover, I'm getting to you late, but yeah, you're welcome to throw me this bracket for Commander. I'd be super keen to look at it. Dragon Game United, you've been trying to do a few more decks with building without combat damage and win cons. Would I have some suggestions for commanders and themes you could check? I mean, my Galazeth Prismari deck that I've got on my YouTube channel is a great one for non-combat damage. So actually, I'll just load up my YouTube channel 1 sec. Hello? So let me scroll all the way back to the start. Galazeth Prismari, really, really good non-combat commander. As is Babala Saga. As is Sauron, and to be fair, the Sauron deck that I built. So all of these are good. If you want to play high power, still these are great non-combat damage commander. One of the ones in my thumbnail for the stream, Kuja, another great non-combat damage commander. Yeah, there's tons and tons. I mean, I think a lot of them are going to be burn related in some way, or life loss combo. Dina is another one that's great. So if I go back to here, Dina is another great non-combat damage one. There's a life loss combo commander. So literally tons. Okay, Radium, we'll look. What do I think of in name as death aspect? In name. 1 second. In name, death aspect. As a commander. Okay. Comes by search life for a number of spirit cards from your graveyard if you shuffle your library. I mean, if you have a combo that's play name, fill your graveyard with all the spirits, play Patriarch's Bidding, or something like that, bring them all back, and that wins you the game on the spot. Like, I don't know what spirits there are that are gonna combo. Like, I'm sure there must be some kind of life drain combo or something that can exist in that, but seems like it could be really good. Thanks, biologist. I appreciate you. Wow, Twitch being hit with an AI viewer stream spam. Interesting. I'll leave that there unless it gets more. If it spams again, we'll just delete them. I do not Iridium, as you just saw, so I will deal with that later. Or if they keep posting, I will deal with them imminently. But I'll leave them for later. If I'll get a bot and stuff later. Quick Rhythm, yeah, Pauper Commander is cool. I think that my take on this is that in Commander, I really find most of the cards that are rares and uncommons to be the most interesting, especially niche ones from old sets. And so I prefer, personally, budget building, where it's focused on no card over, for example, $1 in your deck. Because I think that a lot of bulk rares and uncommons are far more interesting than the common cards. For Commander specifically, for brewing and building. So I don't like Pauper Commander as much as that, but Pauper Commander is cool. Hello, Albert. Ulalek is a great non-combat commander. That's true. Ulalek's wild. In fact, Ulalek was one of the commanders I was thinking about for this bracket 4 deck. But I just built a sort of combo Eldrazi deck, so I don't know if I want to do it again. This is a commander that, if you haven't seen it, will absolutely melt your brain. It's the thought of playing with this. Like, if I had to build it, I would build it around very simple combos that are enabled by the copying. But like, I would never build this where you're just getting value from it and you're stacking generic abilities, because I think it's just going to get so convoluted so fast. I have no interest in that. it's too intense. My brain will melt before I win the game. Yeah, Kuja is one of the ones I'm thinking about for bracket 4. I think Kuja is really strong. I haven't built him and I've been wanting to for a while. There's a lot of, like, if you haven't watched my Final Fantasy video, so if you haven't watched this video, 2 things. Firstly, if you haven't watched this video, there's a lot of really good commanders in the Final Fantasy set. This one over here. If you do watch it, just be aware, I only talk about the ones that are B rank and above. So before you hit me in the comments, like countless people have that say, oh, but you said this was all the commanders. It's not every commander. I only talk about the good ones. Otherwise, this video would be an hour long and no one would watch it. But there's a lot of good commanders in Final Fantasy. High power ones as well. There's the Persist combo one, Celeste, I think. That's really good as well. Obviously, Vivi is insane. Got Sephiroth, that's a wild card. There's a lot of good cards. Tanuk's Steadfast Second's very cool. What's Morag? What's Morag? Moraug? The Fury of Akum. Oh, that is cool. Obviously, it requires some sort of landfall to really work well, but it's cool. Oh, Pillar Thief, Living Death. Yeah, the spell that one of my favorite all-time spells in Magic that I always forget the name of, but Living Death, yes. What type of Albert? What type of commander am I looking for, and what type of gameplay do I want to achieve? No idea. Right now it's just bracket 4, and ideally I want it to be something cool. I mean, I have still been tinkering with Witherbloom, so it could be that, but I think I just want it to be something that's not like, I don't want to build a deck that someone would expect. So like, commanders that I've looked at are things like Katara. So this is a cool commander where, again, this is high power, so it's fine. But like, with Katara, you basically are, your entire deck is instant speed. You are countering spells, interacting with the game, keeping yourself alive, and then at some point you just attack and draw a handful of cards, and then you go again. So yeah, Katara is a kind of, as a control option, I think I find very interesting because it's also monocolor, and I like the idea of monocolor decks at high power. I think they're interesting. So, completely open-minded. Could be combo, could be combat-based, could be non-combat based. Astro Tile, yeah, and the Gitrog monster is great for bracket 4. You run it as a CDH commander. Let's have a look. So you may play an additional land in each of your turns. Creatures and non-basic lands your opponents if the battle will tap. Well, that's nice. That could be cool. I feel like this is a bit of a known quantity though in high power. So whilst it's good, I don't know if I want to build it. Dragon, do I have any suggestions on making a control deck that doesn't feel toxic? Yes, I do have suggestions on that. I think firstly you've got to play it in an environment, and like any deck is only as good as the environment you're playing it in. So if you're playing a control deck, you probably want to be playing a control deck in an environment that requires controlling. When I've talked about the brackets before, the way I see bracket 2 is a place where you don't want to interact too much because people are coming to play the game and play their decks for fun. Control is far better for me in bracket 3 and 4 because it starts getting more serious and more competitive, and that's the kind of environment that needs controlling. And people typically are less worried about playing out their deck and doing the thing. The higher power up you go. In bracket 4, something I found enjoyable is people just don't care because the game's over in 25 minutes anyway. So even if they get locked out of the game on turn 2, oh, it's fine. talk crap for 15 minutes, then you go again. But I think a key thing that I would say to make a control deck feel less toxic is just win the game. So obviously, again, this is harder in bracket 2 where the game has to go for 10 turns. So if you've got the game locked down on turn 5, it feels kind of bad for 5 turns and everyone feels like they don't have any agency. And people want to have agency again, especially in bracket 2. But just have enough win conditions and have good, efficient win conditions that don't take a long time to win the game. Because people only get upset about control, in my experience, when they are locked in a game that they feel like they can't do anything in. If you are controlling the game a little bit so that you stay alive until you can win the game, with your primary focus is actually on winning the game and not just controlling the game, then I think it's absolutely fine. And it's not toxic at all. The problem is when people make control decks, where the goal of the game is just to lock everyone in a game with them that they can't get out of. Be on a bit of a power trip, whether it's intentional or unintentional. That happens a lot, and that's when control decks feel toxic. So more win conditions, better win conditions that obviously work on a time frame that you're playing in, for the bracket you're playing in. So like, if you're playing in bracket 3, you want to win on turn 7, make sure your control deck can win on turn 8 to 9, for example. If you're in bracket 4, make sure your control deck can win on turn 6 or turn 7. Because obviously if you're controlling, you're slowing the game down, right? That is my hot take for you. Well, not so hot take, I imagine, but... Irradium, you know, a friend of yours uses WiseBot for things like the AI view thing. Thank you, I appreciate that. Again, it probably doesn't look like it's a major problem right now, but I will definitely be... I will definitely be employing something to yeet those AI bots out of here. Domino, you're gonna recommend Squall Gunblade Duelist. Squall. Is he the Orzhov one? Orzhov Squall? Oh, he's not. Oh yeah, these are cool. Like, I found it was the same with Lord of the Rings when they brought the holiday set. There were a bunch of commanders that just went completely under the radar. As Squall enters, choose a number. Whenever one or more creatures attack one of your opponents, any of those creatures have power or toughness equal to the chosen number. He deals damage equal to its... Squall deals damage equal to his power, the defending player. Oh, that's cool. So you have a bunch of creatures of the same power, And then you make Squall really big and then you just dome people. That looks like a lot of fun. That's very cool. I think there's the Empress of Palamecia, isn't there? Or is that the wrong one? Am I thinking of the wrong card? No, it's not that. I remember there's something that's like that. Same set at least. Same section of the set. Yeah, Lightning and Tifo are both great. Hey Zaris Kid. Appreciate the kind words. I'm glad you find them helpful. That's why I do what I do. Albert, yeah, Katara's amazing. Yeah, I figured she would be. I haven't really seen a deck with her yet, and I haven't seen how she wins, but she is crazy. What are the combos people run, Albert? Is it Thassa's Oracle and stuff? I would hope not, but I imagine it is at higher power. Penguin Zombie. Have I built a deck with Octavia Living Thesis? This spell costs 8 less to cast if you have 8 more. Whenever you cast an instant target creature. I have not. But that looks like a lot of fun. If you have cheap cantrips and you have a bunch of tokens. So like I could see things that make small tokens, like bird tokens. So if you've got like Murmuring Mystic in your deck. That's not how you spell murmuring, is it? Oh, okay, 1 second. So yeah, if you've got Murmuring Mystic, there's also the one from Final Fantasy that scries and makes birds. What's it called? One moment, please. I'll say it's called Lapis, but I know it's not called Lapis. I think he's from Final Fantasy. Also, Matoya Archon Elder. Banger of card in the right deck. He's here somewhere. Oh, no. I'm pretty sure he's from Final Fantasy. He's a 4-mana creature and he makes birds and he scries. Or they scry. Or he scries. Someone's doing scrying. Maybe he is not in a Final Fantasy. Or he's in a supplementary part of the set, maybe? I know how I can find out. I'm pretty sure I put him in a deck. I need to look at my Architect notifications. I'm pretty sure I put him in a deck. Where's the Birdman? Here he is. Riku of Many Paths. Where are you? Pretty sure. Maybe not. Well, Octavia's in here. So I haven't built an Octavia deck, but I have helped someone with a Riku of Many Paths deck, and Octavia was in there. Okay, let's just view this by mana value, because then I'll find the 4 mana value ones. Hermes! There we go. I knew he was Final Fantasy. That's a Lapis, Hermes, not that far apart. Yeah, so he would go really well with Octavia, as he was in that deck. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you make a bird with Flying and Vigilance. Whenever you attack with 1 or more birds, you scry 2. So yeah, go well with that. Oh, Cubs, that is such a great suggestion. I've been eyeing out a Sammy deck for the longest time since that set came out. You may know that I built a Ragos deck instead. Ragos was the commander I decided to build from that set. But yeah, oh, that's wrong Sammy. Sorry, wrong Sammy. I got baited. Where is he? There we go. Yeah, this is what we're looking for. This is the kind of command that I think could go really well. The only problem is in bracket 4. He's expensive. They are expensive. And like, I suppose you have mana rocks to get your affinity for artifacts up. So you would just ramp a lot and then play Sammy and then try and draw a bunch of cards. Yeah, but that's a really cool suggestion. I'm going to keep this here in a tab and open up a new one because I think Sammy might be on a short list for sure. Hey, Cody J. Your first Noni commander you built was Veto. Veto is very cool. Very, very cool. It also works really well as a nut card in the 99 in many, many, many life drain decks. Cool Cat. Thoughts on Tamiyo? I mean, as a commander? I assume you mean as a commander. God, I did not find the card you're looking for. Type Tamiyo into Scryfall. So I think Tamiyo is a... Wow. That's a lot of money. Was this a... Must have been a prize, right? For winning something. Until your next turn, a creature that's fine. It target in sorcery and gray. So like, what is this? Simic? It's Simic, right? Yeah. I think it's fine. I think Tamiyo is a far better card in constructed formats. Than I think it is in Commander. Like, Tamiyo is effectively a value engine here, right? So it's creating card advantage and value. It's not winning us the game. So you still have to have other win conditions in your deck. And like, if you're playing Simic, I feel like there's probably stronger options. I think it's fine. It's good. It's good Commander. It's not bad at all. You obviously just have to figure out how you win in the game. But I don't think it's too slow for bracket 3. It costs you 1 mana. Drawing 3 cards in a turn with Tamiyo is very easy, because really you only have to draw 2 after your first draw if you're doing it at sorcery speed in your main phase. Or on your turn at least. So you could literally flip Tamiyo on turn 2. Because you could go turn 1 Tamiyo, turn 2 draw 2 cards. That's very achievable in blue. And then you have Tamiyo flipped. And then you could plus her immediately. So you could go to 4. You could do this -7 feasibly on turn 4 or 5. And if you've drawn half your library, if you draw half your library in Simic on turn 5 and you can't win the game after that, I think there's a problem. So I think actually I'm gonna take this back. I think she's just fine. I think she's a great commander. Just make sure you think about your win conditions. Quick Rhythm, Oathbreaker. I've heard of Oathbreaker. I haven't. Is that the one where you are like, you have other different roles? Or is that something else? Cody J, you've tried to get your Veto deck to CDH. I don't know if Vito's got that juice in him, to be honest. Whenever you gain life, target... I mean, he's part of a combo, right? So you can literally 2-card combo with him and... Is it Exquisite Blood? Bond, Blood, one of the two. And you could do that on turn 4. 5. So I think you can get into B4 for sure. CDH, maybe not. But I think he could be bracket 4. Only problem is he's mono black. That really lets you down a lot. Nezahal. Let's have a look at Nezahal. Nezahal Primal Tide. The spell can't be conquered. You have no maximum hand size. Whenever opponent casts a non-creature spell, draw a card. Seems pretty good. Discard 3 cards, return it. Oh, so it has protection. I mean, yeah. The only problem here is needing to get to 7 mana. 7 mana in bracket 4 is, especially in blue, is kind of rough. And once it's down, I think you just win. But like, just remember, like, at least for me, right? I'm thinking bracket 4 games are going to end on turn 4. That's really the bar. And I feel like Nezahal could probably win you the game if you have Nezahal in play for 3 turns, 2-3 turns. But like, you're not playing it before turn 4 most of the time, especially in mono blue. So I think it's a tricky one. That's cool, Albert. Yeah, as I just said, I got your message now, but yeah, I think Tamiyo works pretty well. I am gonna butcher this name. Selhefe 1947. Do I have any content for Tough First Metal Bender? No. The closest I have is my video on... did I do a video on this? Ooh, I don't know if I did. I don't think I did do a video on this. Well, let me go to Architect. So I helped someone, a very cool person actually. I helped them with a deck. I helped them with a oh, is it even public? Is this publicly hosted? Hold on one second. Probably in the deck reviews folder. One moment. So I helped with an avatar deck. If I can find it. Ah, there it is. Okay. So, which is the right one? Don't think it matters. This one? So I helped with this deck, which has Tough in it and has a lot of stuff based around earthbending, but it's not the typical Tough combos. So like, I don't have any content that's specifically about her. She, however, I know can be a combo deck and can work in bracket 4, so it's probably not a bad one to consider. I would recommend, if you're looking for tough content, I would go here. So I know that I'm just gonna... Someone did a video. I'm trying to think of who it was. The comedian and his friends. Play to win. I'll go watch this video. Go and watch this play to win video. I'll pop it in chat 1 second. Because this is like high power. If you want high power, this is like high power. So I would go start here and work your way backwards, because you can always make the deck weaker. But if you want to see the ceiling of Tough, I think they did a pretty good job from what I can tell. Shout out Play to Win. I don't watch too much Magic content, but shout out Play to Win. Wither Apprentice and Chain of Smog. Yeah, that's those are some combos for sure. Astro. Oh yeah, cool cat. I get you. Wagaranti, hello. Wow, 15 minutes behind chat. I'll catch up. I'll speedrun this. You love the... If you're still here, Wagaranti, I hope you are, but you love the building backwards video. You're a new player. You don't know how many win conditions work, or how to work backwards. You tend to build decks that go mid-range and pray. Yeah, I've got a video about that. What resources would you recommend for discovering new win conditions or finding new win conditions for a specific deck? Is EDHREC the best place to start? I mean, yeah, you can go look at EDHREC. My recommendation is always, when you are trying to find win conditions, go and look at the highest power version of the deck you're trying to build. So for example, and the tricky thing here is often that like people that are making decks on EDHREC and online are often people like you, and I don't mean that as an insult, but like newer Magic players that don't know what they're doing. And someone will go and make a deck called, I don't know, Tough CDH, and it's like, it's not a CDH deck at all. It's not even a bracket 4 deck. It's like not even a bracket 3 deck. It's just Tough and a bunch of game changers, and it's like, that's not a good deck. That doesn't have good win conditions, that's for sure. So you got to be careful, but I would say go and search for, like, let's say we're going to use Tough as an example. You type in Tough CDH or Tough bracket 4, and you go and look at a bunch of decks and look at the way they win. Some people will do really good primers, but like I just showed with Play to Win, go and look on YouTube, because I feel like the people that are creating stuff on YouTube typically have some skin in the game. They've got a brand, right? So they don't want to build a dumb deck that's bad. They at least have some reason to make a good deck. And go and look at the Bracket 4 or the CDH versions. I think Bracket 4 is better because CDH is always the same win conditions over and over. But go and look at Bracket 3 or Bracket 4 decks on YouTube for the commander you want to build. And I think that will point you in the direction of win conditions. Then you can see how you might want to work those win conditions into your deck or how you might want to build towards them. I think that's the best way. Because, yeah, it can be really tricky to know what win conditions exist at all and which win conditions to pair with your deck. Stealing from someone else until you figure out and you build up your own internal database of knowledge is the only real way to go. This game is very complicated. And unfortunately, in Commander, you don't have deck lists like you have for 60 card formats. And a meta, and people that talk about the meta. Thanks, Albert, for shouting out the Discord. Appreciate you. I wish I had more time to jump in and help people on the Bruin channel. That was my original intention, but like, I just don't have time. Albert, Zur the Enchanter. Now that is a card, if it's the one I'm thinking of. Oh no, it's not the one I'm thinking of. What are you 2-4 with Zur? Combo pieces? Saril, Genesis Shepherd is really fun for Bracket 4. I mean, I would actually be tempted to build a Hearthhole deck for Bracket 4. Just go all in on the powerful Hearthhole angle. I think it might be too slow though. I think it's better in Bracket 3. Whenever you sacrifice a non-token permanent during your turn, put a number of equals to Zaril's power up to one other target creature. Oh, that's cool. Do you have sacrifice loops that you do then to like go infinite? Is that how this deck wins? Biologists need to relearn how to do Bracket 2. How are you going to laser around for 9 turns if you can actually close out the game? I mean, me being behind chat and starting a long yap, name a finer combo. I have the same problem, Biologist. No one tell my best friend in the world, Vegabee. He's asleep right now, I'm almost certain, so you won't hear this. It's fine. For context, Vegabee is someone who has been in my community for a long time, was one of the first people that sort of started sticking around, and is now one of the mods in my Discord, and a great guy. But he definitely loves lower power play more than I do. Bracket 2. I used to play a lot of Bracket 2, and now I play higher powers, and that's partially because I've been playing more 60 card Magic. And I think any player that's played the game for a really long time. Also, let me know how loud the music is in response to my voice, or in relation to my voice, by the way. It sounds a little bit loud, but let me know. Anyway. If you played for a long time, you often skew towards more powerful plays and quicker games. And yeah, I definitely struggle right now as someone with dramatically unmedicated neurodivergence. I really struggle to play slow Bracket 2 games, especially when people are newer and take a long time to think. I struggle. So I feel your pain. I still love Bracket 2. I still love playing with my friends in Bracket 2, but it's probably not my favorite place to play anymore. You've always been a cool cat. You've always liked Chun-Li Countess kicks. I mean, I don't blame you. Let's have a look at Zethi. Oh, this is a cool card. Yeah. Multi-kicker. When Zethi enters the battlefield, you exile up to X target instant cards from your graveyard. Where X number of times it was kicked, you put a kick counter on each of them. Whenever they attack, you copy each card. I think Zethi is very cool. I don't think it's good enough for Bracket 4. Because I feel like it's more of a... what a cool card. Sometimes Universes Beyond works well. Very cool. I don't like the framing at all. But I like the card. Great Commander. I don't know if it's good enough for Bracket 4. Logan, what do I think of rule zeroing Genomorph Imago? You've always thought about running as a commander because it makes the ult Because the alt art makes you think they wanted to make it a legend but scrapped it. Well, Logan, Black Blood 16713. Let's have a look. What's the alt art? Oh, that is cool. And I really love. So, two things about this card. Firstly, this is my favorite framing in Magic. I absolutely love full arts that have a frame like a normal Magic card, because you get to really appreciate the art, but you also have a legible Magic card that you can play with. And I feel like some of the ones that lose the framing just goes too much. It's just a bit all over the place. This is my favorite look of a Magic card. And secondly, Edge of Eternity's art, despite being more of a swords and sorcery nerd than a space nerd when it comes to this kind of game, I absolutely love the art of Edge of Eternity. It's just absolutely incredible. Whenever a land you control enters, target creature has base power of 3/3. You control 6 more lands that creature has base. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's good for a bracket 2 commander. It's not particularly strong. Like, even in a landfall deck, unless you're infinite comboing, you're probably doing 2 to 3 lands per turn. So it's making 2 to 3 little guys 6/6s. That's good for bracket 2. I would let you rule 0 it for sure. I don't think it's a great commander, but I think it's cool if you like it. Hey, Charge Strike. You're enjoying Kiora, Sovereign of the Deep. Also, how has no one recommended a frog commander for bracket 4 yet? I'm disappointed. I also have a whole bunch of frog decks I have to go and review. That's a separate problem in my never-ending to-do list. Whenever you cast a Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, or Serpent Sword from your hand, go to the top X cards of your library. You may cast, so it's like Cascade basically, specifically for Krakens, Leviathan. Yeah, that's cool, man. I really love the Kraken, I love the big sea creature theme, so big fan. Probably more bracket 3 for me, but I'm getting to the point where everyone was telling me Hermes. Thanks. This is what happens when you're not up to date with chat. Okay, speedrun. Sammy, let's see, hardened to all universes beyond. I'm gonna save this for later, so I'm just gonna put this in a window so I can come back to it later, because I'm gonna look at those cards. Sammy goes nuts if you have a handful of Eldrazi on turn 6. I mean, I think many decks go nuts if you have a handful of Eldrazi on turn 6. Charge Strike. Any advice for a grist deck? Now, 4 Clover, you have caught me at a time, I'm 20 minutes behind chat time of my life. I'm going to look at this quickly. So, with Grist, I think Grist is one of those commanders that is incredibly solved. Like, so many people have built a Grist deck by this point. So I could give you my advice, but like, it's a bit like me saying, like you asking me, do I have advice for a Kenrith deck? Or do I have advice for, there's just so many people that have built that deck. I don't think I have much that I could say about Grist, because to me, it's a deck that wants to fill your graveyard with creatures, and just combo up by doing 40 damage to everyone quickly. So I don't have any advice really, but I think Grist is very solved. That's what I would be doing. I would be getting milling myself into oblivion and doming everyone for 40 damage. Really, Albert? You never flip Tamiyo? Really? You don't draw half your deck? How would you build Bellicor Ramp? Hello, Andres Santos. Andres Cantos. Well, firstly, don't put the ramp when you search for Bellicor. That's how you do it. That's where you start. You don't put ramp in there. Bellicor the Dark Master. When Veiloclaw the Dark Master enters the battlefield, you draw X cards, use X life, X number of demons you control. Whenever another demon enters the battlefield and control deals damage to to any target. So it's like Terror of the Beast, but for demons, right? How would I build Veiloclaw? Ramp or reanimate? Yeah. Veiloclaw is one of those battlecruiser bait commanders to me. Like, it looks like it's powerful, but I don't know if it is. I would say reanimate. Self-mill, reanimate. Because if you go... I think the card draw is a bit of a bait. I think for me, I would be thinking traumatize myself, fill up half of my put half of my library into my graveyard with a bunch of demons, then play Patriarch's Bidding or the other one that was mentioned earlier in this chat that I forgot about, that Living Death or Patriarch's Bidding, and just doming the table for a lot of damage. And because you're playing Reanimate, you can play single reanimation spells as well, but you want to self-mill anyway, so that's how I would do it. Reanimate for sure. Oh yeah, Albert, with bracket 4. Yeah, the game might not end on turn 4, but someone's going to try and win by turn 4. So depending on the deck I'm playing with, I either need to be able to do that myself, or need to have a lot of interaction to stop other people winning on turn 4. Yeah, 100% agree with your take. It's usually typically like turn 6, but... Yeah, I saw Albert. Interesting. I haven't watched very much Play to Win, but I have a respect for them because I can see just based on what they're doing that they are good at what they do. They build good decks. Their content seems to be good. Like I'm a pretty judgmental person. I think whether it's my horoscope or my personality profile, my Myers-Briggs corporate personality profile, judgment I think is something that comes in quite heavily, and I judge most things, including like I can't go back and watch my early stuff because I judge it very harshly. I think it sucks, but yeah, I think they're good. Even with my judgment lens on, I think they're good. Astro, Jaws can be a beast of a bracket 4 commander. You've seen it in action and it's scary. Well, this is the one that makes treasures, right? Blood tokens. Whenever Jaws deal combat damage to a player, create that many blood tokens. Whenever a non-creature artifact is sacrificed or destroyed, Jaws deals 1 damage to each opponent. Trample haste 5/5. Wow, that could be cool, yeah. But I think it's probably more bracket 3, right? I think it's bracket 4? How does he, how is Jaws comboing? How is Jaws doing enough to be a threat by turn 5? Oh, Xerxes is Ristic? Yeah, fair enough. Marius, Scholar of Antiquity. Sorry, I'm skipping over some stuff because I'm just trying to catch up to chat a little bit. Maria is very cool. Hot take. I feel like Gruul is my least favorite commander color combination. Don't tell it to any of the Bellow enjoyers. I like Maria though. Blue Lizard. What exactly is your question? You looking for angels? Whenever you cast a spell that targets put a 1/1 counter on a rune card. I mean, why would you want angels for this? Don't need angels for this, do you? Albert, you don't need to inflate Vegaby's sense of worth. I think he's got a very healthy sense of self-worth. But yeah, you're welcome to clip it for him. Yeah, as Cameron, as I was saying, Mary I think is very cool. Gruul is like... Oh, you guys can't hear music? Nani? Well, that's fine. You don't have to hear the music. I can hear the music. Fine. Maybe we'll do this. Go down on my volume and up here. Maybe now you hear some music. Tell me if it's too loud. It's probably not too loud, but fine. Zethi. Did I just look at Zethi? No, I didn't, did I? Oh, yes, I did. Yeah. Yeah, Ross. Again, I love all the brackets. I love all my children equally. But I think playing 60 card Magic again has ruined it a little bit for me just because of how I personally struggle with downtime. Like, often with my friends when we're playing, like, I will be not a Grinch, but because I love yapping, I love talking about the game, but I love when I'm playing Magic, I really love talking about and engaging with the game that we're playing. So like when people are on their phones or they end up yapping about something completely non-related to the game, and like we're just sitting, like that could happen outside of the game. We can sit down and have a beer or a drink and talk about the game afterwards, or talk about life before or afterwards. But when we're playing Magic, I came to play Magic. Like, if you're going to try and politic and yap about the game, that's great. Even in bracket 2, like, let's take a 20-minute turn. As long as that 20-minute turn is the whole table engaging with each other and having some fun and not just one person thinking about a play that's not going to make an impact. Like... Oh, 4 Clover, Grolnok. Yeah, let me have a look. Let me have a look at this Grolnok. I know Grolnok. I think I have him in one of my decks, to be honest, but... Whenever a frog you control attacks, mill 3 cards. Whenever a permanent card is put into your graveyard from your library, exiled with a crow counter, you may play cards. So if you self-mill yourself, you can then just... It just becomes your hand. Could be a fun combo angle, I think. Could be a fun combo angle. What do you reckon? So Albert, you say you can go the Rhystic Value deck that uses Thassa's lines. Can I get a take in chat? What do you think of Rhystic Study? Like or just put a like, dislike, like or dislike in the chat. What do you think of Rhystic Study? Benjamin Castro. Hello. Firstly, you've been piloting my Emma deck and trying it in the LGS and pod. Have I upgraded or updated the list? Do you want to pick my brain in relation to no ramp in the deck? Oh, okay, sure. So actually, let me load up the Emmet Selk list quickly. So firstly, no, I have not updated it. I have not updated it. Let me search 1 second. Emmet. So I have not updated it primarily because it was built as a very budget focused list. As you can see, it's currently $55 on Archidekt. So two things for you. One, there's plenty of ways you could update the deck by playing more powerful spells, things like free counter spells, free removal, those kinds of things. So you could update it that way. But you could upgrade the win conditions in the deck. But again, this was built as a highly budget focused list. In terms of the point about no ramp, so the way I was viewing this, again, just bear in mind I was building this for bracket 2 specifically, is that Emmet Selk ramps himself, right? He is my ramp. Spells I cast in the graveyard cost 2 less mana to cast. So the intention is to get stuff into my graveyard. So for those that don't know, if you haven't seen the deck is all about, let me just put it into the right categories, sorry. The deck is all about getting cards into the graveyard and then using activated life lock triggers to allow me to play spells whenever I want from my graveyard. So most of my spells will hopefully cost 1 to 2 mana from my graveyard. So you can see here, my counter magic, a lot of it is, there's a lot of double blue pips, so maybe a bit of an outlier, but a lot of them are going to be 1 or 2 mana per counter spell. most of these looting effects and my removal are going to be 1 to 2 mana after the reduction from Emet-Selch. So he is my ramp, and that's why there's no ramp in the deck, other than Sol Ring, because Sol Ring's broken, and Crypto the Fragment, because it enables his casting, and Bender's Waterskin, because it untaps each turn. And can make colored mana. This is the important thing, colored mana, because again, if I'm playing lots of 1 mana spells, I need the colored pip, not a colorless pip. That's why there's not the other artifact that does the same thing. So the other thing is, again, in making the deck, Emet-Selch, for me, I don't want to play him on turn 4. It's an awkward play for turn 4, because what I want to be doing is casting the spells the first time, the counter spells, the interaction, the removal, the card draw, filling my graveyard over on turns 2 to 5 or 6. And then I play Emet-Selch like on turn 6, again, this is bracket 2, turn 6 or 7, 6, 7. I play Emet-Selch on like turn 6 or 7. By that point, I should have 3 mana up, hopefully, that I can play 2 to 3 spells, 2 spells, for example, to protect him first and foremost, that turn cycle, and then can start gaining value by casting multiple spells from the graveyard each turn. That's why there's no ramp. If you wanted to make this a deck that plays in bracket 3, I don't know if it can, to be honest. I have to think about that. But if you wanted to make it a deck that plays in bracket 3, you could add more ramp. The tricky thing is going to be, I would say if you're playing in bracket 3, you probably want much more efficient win conditions. And you're going to take out stuff like Rise of the Tides, Doors of the Nazgul. You're probably going to have a very, very straightforward combo win condition. And you're going to tutor for that combo. And you're going to take out a bunch of cards to make space for your ramp. If you want to get your game plan online early, right? You want to be playing him on turn 4 with protection rather than turn 6 or 7. But that's my thoughts for you on why I built Emet-Selch like this. And if you were going to improve him, you've got a whole bunch of spells like Game Changers, free counter spells, things like that you can play. And then, yeah, you probably want to play some stuff that's going to give you more mana earlier. That's probably what you want to be doing. Drew, any fun Simic cards that can win a game if you infinitely cast them repeatedly? Just get a Hull Breacher in play. Hullbreaker Horror. Get a Hullbreaker Horror in play and just bounce everything. Lord Gucci, what do I think about Lightning? I think Lightning is incredibly good in bracket 3. I don't know if she is any good in bracket 4. Because she costs 3 mana. So like with fast mana, you can get her out on turn 2. She doesn't have haste. So you'd have to give her haste. So let's say we assume she's going to be dealing damage on turn 3. After that, she enables double damage. But then how are we dealing enough damage? Probably with a combo. So like we're going to deal 20 damage to someone with a combo. That's probably an infinite combo, in which case why we don't need lightning at all, because we're just infinite comboing. I feel like she's a way better bracket 3 commander, because for her, right, she needs turns in play to do things. And like in a bracket 4 game, she might get 3 to 4 turns, 3 turns maybe, in play where she's dealing damage. I also just think she's going to get removed. There's way more interaction in bracket 4. I like Lightning, but I think she's far better in bracket 3. Okay, Albert, I get it. Just kill opponents. Who cares about your commander? Okay. Ulamog the Defiler. You're building a bracket 4 Clement the Warrior Ward deck. Yeah, nice. Okay. I think Clement is very cool. Very cool. I have wanted to build Clement for a while. I have a video I need to make about tempo in Commander. I think that Clement is a very cool tempo driven card. What are your win conditions, Drew? Albert, there's a new Lorwyn commander that gives self-mirrored and makes copy of creatures on board. What is that? What's it called? Ross, that sounds broken. Zara's Kid. I have made a Stellar Lee. Stellar Lee was one of the first videos I did. I made the whole premise was, can I make basically a borderline CDH deck for no money? So I try to make a very, very budget version of Stellar Lee, which works incredibly well. So yes to Stellar Lee, but I've already built that deck. I don't feel giving someone a deck I've already built is a good idea. It's also less fun. Lil Gucci, you've been trying to make a Terra deck for bracket 4. Okay, hold on. I actually need to type Herald in here because there's way too many cards that say Terra on it. I don't know if Terra is a good bracket 4 commander. At the beginning of combat in your turn, mill 2 cards. Terra gains flying. Whenever Terra kills combat, you may pay 2. Now, the problem I have with Terra, Lil Gucci, is that your win conditions that you get back have to be power 3 or less. So the cool thing with Terra is you can have like a really powerful broken creature that just has low power. I would have to spend some time with this. Basically, if you want to make this for bracket 4, you have to have a combo that you bring back. So ideally over 2 turns, you bring back 2 combo pieces or something. I think that's the only way Terra works in bracket 4. Makura, do I think that Magar's ability, so I'm going to bring up Magar for people who don't know him. Magar. Is it strong enough for bracket 4? I think so, yes. The only problem is that the creatures have to connect, and in bracket 4 there's more interaction. I think Magar will just eat removal, to be honest. I think he's probably better in bracket 3, if I was going to be critical. Because he takes a bit of time to get online. You have to get an instant or sorcery in your graveyard. You've got to play Magar. You've got to do the ability. So that's already 8 mana before he does anything. And the creature needs to connect. So he's probably a bit slow, I would say. Tony, you like if you use it, you dislike if someone else uses it. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so a lot of likes for Rhystic Study. Fair enough. Okay, we're only 9 minutes behind chat. Catching up. Astro, if you think of what the combo line is, let me know, because yours could be really cool. I like mono red as a color. I think it's interesting. Obviously, I built a well, I say obviously, you might not know. I built a Vincent Vengeful Latona deck that I gifted to the one and only Matt Mercer, and I really like mono red in general because I think it's some of the most pure form of Magic the Gathering. Yeah, I like mono red aggro, try to win the game decks. They don't really work well in the commander bracket system because they are hamstrung by it, but it's what it is, I guess. Yeah, Albert, I tend to agree with you with Rhystic Study. Like, so I don't even like it in bracket 4 just because it creates so many... The game becomes about that card. And if you ignore it, that person just wins. I don't love that. Oh, Muddle the Ever-Changing. Muddle looks really cool. Looks really broken, to be honest. Like, I'm going to be honest. I don't love what's going on here. Like, the Otter side, love that. This Shrimp Eldrazi thing, not a big fan of that. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, Muddle becomes a copy of it to one target non-legendary creature you control until the end of turn, except it has Myriad. I mean, Muddle seems really broken. I wonder what the combo lines are here. Because Because obviously you want to get a really powerful creature in play, like, you can't do a Tali, but stuff like that. Wonder what the win lines are. Because you can just use it as a value engine and just... You also have to get the big creature in play. I feel like Muddle is very strong, but I don't know how. If that makes sense. Yeah, Ross, I hear you on not running Sol Ring and Azula. I think I still do in my list, but I could definitely... Like, it's why I don't run Sol Ring in my Dragon deck, because I have so many colored pips. I don't think I run it in Aragorn either. So I have my Aragorn Spellslinger deck. I don't think I run it in there because of the same reason. Albert, base take. I agree that I don't know if bracket 4 should have separate ban lists. I think bracket 5, I think CD8 should have separate ban list for sure. Competitive meta, it shouldn't be tied to the same rules as a completely for fun format. I also think a lot of stuff should come off the ban list. Oh no, Albert, I welcome walls of text, my friend. We're here to talk about some Magic. That's literally what this stream is for. So, they call me Death Prime. That's a cool name, and thank you. I'm glad you like the budget Azula list. It's very similar to my take on Stella Lee. I was trying to make a strong deck, but for cheap. Some commanders like that. You can break. We'll use the word break, where you can get them to do cool stuff for cheap. But yeah, that Azula list took me some time. Like every time I build a combo deck like that, I really have to learn the combo line, and that for me is like mind melting. Especially when you have like multiple things on the stack and copies, and how the spells, like when you go and fetch the spells, and you have the multiple collections of cards, and which ones can you get? Like, oh, it breaks my brain. Bracket 4, Rule 0, Disciple of Deceit. Disciple of... Watch me spell disciple wrong. We got it. Nice. Whenever Disciple of Deceit becomes untapped, you may discard a non-land card. If you do, search your library card with the same converted mana cost that got revealed and put it into your hand. I mean, just a combo tutor. Yeah, that would be pretty strong. The Wandering Minstrel. So I did not rate this card very highly. And I think a lot of people had opinions because they're like, it's a CDH card. And I'm like, yeah, that's just because you're abusing the lands enter untapped part. Like, yeah, it can be a part of a combo line, but that wasn't how I was thinking about it. I do think that building a deck around it, like I think my friend has started building like all the boys in the car Final Fantasy theme deck where this was the commander. I like the idea of, like, I don't care for the elemental creature tokens. I do like the pump everything up, and I like the town synergy. I think the towns makes it's a cool anchor for it. Oh, true, there is Zada. Zada is strong. Not really my type of thing, though. Yeah, Astro, that's what I thought. Mass Transgression, okay. So, infinites. Casey, you've lost like 6 games in a row. Any advice for rebounding from a loss streak? Just win? I mean, it's a difficult, like, when you say rebounding from a loss streak, do you mean mentally? Or like, do you just want to win? Because there's the mental impact that losing over and over can have on you if you want to win the game. There's also just the act of winning. And I think that if your question is, how do I mentally deal with losing over and over? I think that's a much easier question to answer, because if you're asking how to win, there's so many variables there. What deck are you playing? What are you playing into? The people you're playing against, what's the mentality there? Are they your friends? What's your play group? Do they have a vendetta with you? Like, there's so many things that can come into play. So give me some context and I'll answer that in a minute. Because I'm almost caught up with chat, so I'll definitely have time to go through that. Interesting that you decided to build Clement as your first bracket 4 deck, Drew. Yeah, cool. I might have to go all in on the frog, to be honest. Call me Death Prime. What are my thoughts on Storm? Well, ironically, before I started on the stream, I was looking into Storm because it's one of those cards where I'm like, I just know it's busted, but I've not seen anyone do much with it. And the problem for me with Storm is I feel like it's gonna feel maybe a bit win more because a lot of combos don't need this to exist, and like the combos that need this means that your entire deck is based around Storm. Plus, it's going to be tricky, weird combos. So you'd have to like figure out janky, weird combos to make it work. I think she's very strong, but I don't know how. So, Casey, I think it depends. Like, at least for me, I don't really care about winning in Commander. Because I play a lot of 60 card Magic now. And I get I mean, I've said this before numerous times in my content, but like, I'm a big fan of getting your competitive elements out somewhere else. So like, you know, whether you play 60 card Magic, or you play other games, you play Valorant or League of Legends or Counter-Strike, or you do sports in real life, or you do mixed martial arts, or debating, something where you get that like need to win out, because I feel like in Commander it's such a caring about winning in Commander is such a trap, because ultimately you actually have very little control. And I hope I don't offend anyone by saying this, but I think, personally, CDH is a little bit of a joke. A hot take. Streamer, a casual Commander content creator says CDH is a joke. Burn him. I just feel like people that take CDH incredibly seriously, like, if I was wanting to prove myself to myself or other people, I would be winning in the format that has the least variance, because that's where skill is surely going to be shown to come to the top. I would not be trying to win in a format where two people can go, fuck you, and then I can't win. Like, and there's collusion, and there's intentional drawing, and there is, well, if we don't let him win the game, I'll let us both lose the game. Like, it just makes no sense to me how people would place their, because I think the problem is if you're taking competition seriously, you are placing your ego on the line, right? You can't but help. For most people, I think very few people manage to compete whilst also completely divorcing themselves from the outcome. That is the dream. Being competitive but not at all in any way being attached to the outcome. Radical acceptance. What happens, happens, and you don't care. That's very difficult, because for anybody who's expending any amount of time to try and do something, they naturally would want some kind of result from that. Most people. So a format that is inherently competitively flawed and trying to make that a competitive thing and caring about winning in that format, I think is just a trap. Anyway, I digress. All that aside, I would say, for me, Commander is not about the winning. The only time I feel like the winning matters in Commander is when the people you're playing with aren't fun enough, or you're not having enough fun. Because I think in Commander, some of the most fun I've had is when I'm not winning. I'm just having a great time. The games are hilarious, and it doesn't matter about who wins. The winning is the end of the game. It's the sad part. The game is over. The fun is what happens in the game. So I think, yeah, for me, I think I would be focusing on more, and maybe you're not having enough fun and you should have more fun. And then you won't worry so much about the winning. Maybe that's missing the mark or the point entirely, but I think just trying to remove your concern about winning and just focusing more on having fun. It's at least for me a telltale sign. If I feel like I'm upset about winning, I'm probably just upset about something else. And that something else is usually not having enough fun. Let me know what you think about that. And then we'll come back to it in a second. Because I feel like this is a good topic to talk about. Because I think a lot of people struggle with this kind of thing in Commander. Meet him. Hello. I love a cat profile picture. Have I seen the new Commander deck template builder from that one YouTuber? If so, what do I think about it? If by that one YouTuber you mean Rebel Lily, close personal friend Rebel Lily, I have had a look. I think Rebel has fantastic intentions, and I really appreciate what she's trying to do. I think any tool like that is going to struggle with the... How do I phrase this? To make a tool like that, it's going to suffer from the EDH rec problem. It's going to be good general advice, but it will, for the average player in the average deck, if you've watched my video about the mid-rangification of Commander, I obviously have thoughts on the average deck and the average player. But if you are that average deck and that average player, it'll give you some good advice. And for beginners, it'll probably be a great tool. Probably adds a lot that's missing right now. If you are like me, or you're a more experienced player and you're trying to build interesting, wacky decks, like if I go and put that Eldrazi deck that I was building into that builder, I'm not going to get very much out of it. And that's no shade to Rebel and no shade to the tool. Again, I think it's actually pretty good. I think she's doing something great. But all tools have their limits, and I feel like at least for now, there are probably some limits to it. But hey, another tool that's being built to make Commander players' lives better, I think is really, really good. So I've used it a little bit. I've tinkered with it a bit. Again, for me, I said this in my last video, and this got some people's backup. Where I was like, look, in this Eldrazi list, I ended up using AI because I got to a point with the list where I wasn't happy with it, and I needed combos because I was trying to make it high power because the brief was high power. And I Googled. I spent about an hour on Google looking for combos. I went to Commander Spellbook. I went into EDH Rec. I looked for combos of the cards that I was trying to play with. Nothing came up. And eventually I went to AI and I was like, hey, these are the cards. This is the deck I'm trying to build. I need more cards that work with these, or I need combos that work with these cards. Please, can you do extensive research and come back to me with some suggestions? And it came back with some really good stuff that didn't build the deck. Like, it gave me maybe 5 or 6 cards for my deck, but they opened up direction that allowed me to flesh it out into this combo deck, which was changing from a more aggressive creature-based strategy. And that kind of thing, you have to prompt a tool like this, which is giving you advice, to get stuff back. And unless you have the prompt element that's you're giving unique information that's specific and tangible to your deck, I think there will always be a ceiling with things like this. Anyway, long answer. I think it's great. I love what Rebel's doing. I wish her the best of luck. I will probably not use tools like that a lot because, again, from what I just stated, they have their limitations and they're not meant for me. Like, I don't have a big ego, but I think when it comes to deck building on YouTube, or deck building in general for Commander, my goal was always to be one of the best deck builders out there. And I genuinely think I am one of the better deck builders that exist in the online space. Obviously, there's tons of people that are great deck builders that don't put stuff online, but you get what I mean. So for me, it's not for me, but I'm not the intended audience. The intended audience is like a new player. Silver Walnut. I have yapped a lot and said nothing of value. Thank you and good day. It's been all over the place, my friend. I think you're gonna have to catch up. But fortunately, you can watch back, and there's lots to catch up on. we've talked about a lot of different commanders, a lot of random questions, so I couldn't recap it all, even if I tried. Albert, you are a criminal with your breach lines. Albert, what do you think of the new flashback spell? The gives a single spell flashback. I know it works in some combos and not others, because obviously you can only get one spell back, and you can't do things like enable your counter spells that are in your graveyard, but what do you think of it in some decks? Realm Razor. Ross. I need to look at Realm Razor. No doubt there's some good stuff in the chat, given I yapped about some pretty big topics, but... When Realm Razor comes into play, remove all lands from the game, and Realm Razor leaves play. Sundial of the Infinite? There's a thing that ends the turn. I think Sundial of the Infinite will work with this, Ross. Double check it. Ask the internet. Don't trust Casual Commander Frog, but I pretty much think that this works with that. All lands will just be gone. But I mean, at the same time, you can just play Armageddon. So, like, you don't need to play this. You just play Armageddon. So you do that in bracket 4. Don't fuck about. I'm just going to call you Prime to make this simpler. They call me Death Prime. But Prime, I'll have a look at her. I might tinker with her a little bit. I think that could be a really interesting angle on a high power deck. So yeah, thank you for that suggestion. I'll definitely tinker with it. And then if I do tinker with it, if you're in my Discord, you might see me talk about it. Or alternatively, I might make a video about it because I think that's a really interesting one. But I also feel like that's probably the most work than any other commander. Cody J, your LGS hosts CDH tournaments. What commanders do I recommend for budget-friendly CDH decks under $600? You like monocolor or dual low color? Not Magda. Well, Cody J, you've just heard me talk shit about CDH, so I apologize. I think I can like my Stellar Lee deck. Highly recommend. So I would say, sorry. Stellar Lee. This deck, my Stellar Lee deck, is currently $179. In fact, if I update this, it's probably going to be a bit cheaper. Am I signed in? Yeah. One moment. Why can't I update this? Optimize printings. There we go. $160. Oh god, what have I done? Huh? No, I don't want to go to Patreon. Sorry. $160. I think you would be personally hard pressed to beat this for a cheap deck. I think you could probably make a very cheap Katara deck that I was looking at earlier. So you could probably build Katara for not a lot of money, and it could be quite strong. Counter spells aren't that expensive. I think you could probably take a deck like... The only problem with this is like... So, okay. You've got a budget. I would say 2-color decks are your friend. So, Katara could be really good. Stellar Lee could be really good. I think you might be able to build AC for quite cheap. You'd probably build this for quite cheap. I'd have to look, but I think you could probably build AC for quite cheap. Because the problem is you don't want to have to sink $300 into a mana base. Like, I was thinking about Kefka, because, like, Kefka is just so much value. He's so much value that, like, if you get him into play, you are creating so many problems for the table. And you can play things like flicker spells on Kefka to protect him. Like, he's such a good... In the right colors, you've got powerful spells and win conditions. You can do so much with Kefka that I think you could probably build a really cheap Kefka deck that can do a lot. The only problem is your mana base. But you can play mana rocks and stuff to get around it. So I think I'd look at something like that. Stellar Lee, I think, is great. You could power up the deck really easily as well, because right now there's no cheap free counter spells, stuff like that. Maybe people in chat have some ideas as well. But I would say you're looking at 2 color decks is, I think, the sweet spot. Benjamin Castro, you built a bracket 4 Tifa deck, but is extra combat themed in your playgroup as an immediate 4. Have you checked her? Have I checked Tifa? Yeah, I think Tifa's good. Is this the one that just one-shots people? Oh, martial artist. I think Tifa's very good. My gut feel says she's probably bracket 3, better in bracket 3, but she seems good. I like Tifa. I'm just catching up with chat, by the way. Taking a moment. I move away from the mic to breathe. I don't know if anyone knows that meme. You're going to show your age if you know about moving away from the mic to breathe. Yeah, Casey, it happens. Like, I've definitely had bad nights. Just coming back to Casey's earlier question. Like, again, I think it comes out to fun. If you're having fun with the people you're playing with, if you enjoy like, I've said this a bunch of times, but I try not to sit down to play a game of Commander with people I would not want. This is harder when you don't have a play group and when you go to the LGS, but like, I would not want to sit down to play a game of Commander with people that I don't want to already sit down to spend 2 hours with just talking. Because anytime I have chosen to play Commander or play Magic, when my desire or need to play Magic has outweighed my desire to just sit and spend time with people, and I have sat down with people that I would not spend time with otherwise just so I can get a game of Magic in, that's when I've had a bad time. And I feel like that's a bit of a dick thing to say, but I think, I'm a bit older and life is short, and as you get older, you value your time more. I think it's a natural occurrence in life. And like, sitting down for potentially 2 hours with people that you don't really like, there's a lot of time. You can do a lot with 2 hours. It's obviously tricky if you're in an LGS and you don't know people, and you have to kiss about a bunch of frogs to meet a prince. Or I suppose here I should say you need to kiss a bunch of princes to meet a frog, because the frog is superior. But yeah, like you need to obviously go through that process at some point. It's like dating. To find a partner, you have to spend a bunch of time dating, and that's often a bunch of wasted time in a way. No time is really wasted because it's learning and experience and life. But yeah, I think fun. Focus on the fun. Yeah, I think with Storm, for me, I would be thinking about something that deals damage, ideally, or a loop. Because you're putting copies on the stack. The same thing that the Azula deck does. If you're putting copies on the stack of things, you can then play stuff like Narset's Reversal to pick up your Narset's Reversal and play it again. The combos would have to be made from pretty cheap cards though, because if you're playing Storm and you try to win, you probably need about you'll probably have like 6 mana available. Ooh, I mean that could be cool, because if you're giving mana generation cards Storm, that could work pretty well. Yeah, that could work pretty well. So you could just do that as well. Have a bunch of mana generation cards and then a bunch of card draw. and then a win condition. That's the way I would probably see it right now. My brain whirring along, but if you get Storm in play, you draw a bunch of cards, you make a bunch of mana. Things like, hold on. What's this card? What's this card? Where's Gruul Storm? Hold on, let me find my Mox Field. Manamorphose. Never mind, I got there. I didn't even have to go to that. Cards like this. Or Seething Song, right? If you can get a bunch of these on the stack, this would go very hard in that deck. But you play this once, maybe you get 3 or 4 copies of it. You make 6 to 8 mana. You draw a bunch of cards. You play a Seething Song. You make a bunch more mana. You do that, and then eventually you play even just any sort of Gyre's Immolating Inferno or something like that. And really, you'd only have to do like X is 5 because it would be copied a bunch of times. So that's probably what I would lead into with Storm. Yeah, I mean, you could also have a loop, but I think I would probably veer away from the loops because I feel like the loops are... So I would veer into something like this because I feel like loops are done with many other commanders. What is Storm enabling that other commanders are not enabling? That's how I would find a fun Storm deck. And I think for me, Rituals plus card draw plus win condition is the crux. Thank you, Albert. That was actually generated from your chat that I started thinking about this. CLDY TV. Could Tymna and Crown be a good... If you're still here, could Tymna and Crown be a good commander of a bracket 3 style control deck? I mean, you've chosen the CEH commander combination. Yes, Tymna and Crown could be a good combo commander for a bracket 3 deck, but like that's because they are almost all colors and are just strong commanders. So yes, I would say yes, but like if there's not much flavor there. These are CEH commanders for a reason because they pair well and they enable a lot and they create a lot of value. Okay, Albert, so you like the new flashback spell? Fair enough. Ah, Ross, you're in that social environment. I mean, just play bracket 4. that'll solve. Thank you, Albert. I forgot to put the Discord. Okay, I will, after this stream, I'm going to go do a bunch of commands for chat because I've made this mistake before. After last stream, I said I was going to do it and I forgot. Professional streamer, by the way. Thank you for giving Death the Discord link. Prime. Sorry, giving Prime the Discord link. Choosing the wrong word in the name. Ross Daigle. What's Ross saying? Ross, I miss an environment where you would play a bunch of small, powerful creatures like Kurt Ape and then play an Armageddon. Shout out to Brian Kibler. Idea, that's the card I was thinking about earlier, Ian. I don't know if you were here. When we were talking about the Final Fantasy alt commanders, we talked about Squall. Idea was the one I thought about. Let's have a look at Idea. One moment. Also, just this whole Final Fantasy set just got so much incredible art. So Idea has Ward 2 at the beginning of combat in your turn. Gain control of target creature and opponent controls. Untap that creature against haste. Whenever a creature you control but don't own dies, return to the battlefield on its owner's control and draw a card. So I think with Idea, the cool thing is like, if those creatures die, they go back to their owner anyway. So like, it's not mean at all. I feel like Idea is a great bracket 2 commander because you're doing it, but you're progressing the game state, but you're not really doing anything. I think pairing a Dia with a whole bunch of effects like village rights. So like you steal a creature and like you're stealing one creature. So like it's not that great, but oh, 1 second. Village rights. If you have cards like this, you steal the creature, you hit someone, you sack the creature, you draw 3 cards. Seems pretty good. It's a whole bunch of these effects. I would try and mix that up. But yeah, I think a deck where you play a Dia, you play a bunch of stealing spells to get more creatures. You play a bunch of these to sacrifice the creatures to draw more cards. You play a bunch of goad. Your whole goal is progressing the game. I think that's a really fun low power deck. Especially because Dia is worse at high powers because lots of people don't run combat damage win cons in high power. In bracket 4, almost all win cons are combo related. So like stealing a creature has a very low impact. Versus in bracket 2 where someone wants to play a big dinosaur and you can just steal it. Oh, but it's 4 a.m. Wow, dedication. Ah, Cody, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Hustle them. I respect it. Hey, 4 Clover, cheap AC bracket 4 list. Yeah, my friend has a bracket 4 AC list. So maybe if Cody J, whichever of those commanders you like the look of, if it was something like AC, maybe 4 Clover can help you. Prime, your partner is a criminal. Running Kefka in bracket 3, I feel like is a bannable offense. That's some naughty list activity for sure. Kefka is very strong. I would argue probably too strong for bracket 3 purely because of the value it creates. CLDY, what are some other commanders that offer a card draw engine like Kefka or Tymna Crown? Well, Katara was one we just looked at. So Katara draws cards. But plenty. There's a lot of commanders. I would say just open up the EDH Rec commanders list. So here, and just scroll. Ishtala draws a bunch of cards. Like card draw is one of the most popular things. Dark Horse CLDY for a commander that draws cards. Play Vivi as your commander and slap Curiosity on this bad boy and profit. Probably one of the most broken plays I've ever done. I put Vivi into my Aragorn deck. And I also had Curiosity in there because it pairs with Aragorn, because I wanted to put Curiosity on Aragorn. So every time I cast a red spell, I'd ping someone for 3 damage. It's like part of my win condition. And then I would draw a card. And then I was like, I played Vivi and I had Curiosity in my hand. And I was like, hang on a minute. What happens if I put this Curiosity on this Vivi? And then I play a cheap non-creature spell. And then I ping everyone for 3 damage. But I also draw 3 cards. And then what if I do that again because I just drew a bunch of cards? And what if I do that again because I just drew a bunch of cards? Vivi and Curiosity is a very strong card draw. But yeah, I would say go through here. There's going to be a bunch of other ones like this. Obviously, Balin can draw you a bunch of cards. Yeah, there's a bunch like that. So I would say Hearthol can draw cards. Hackbowl doesn't draw cards necessarily, but its explore mechanic is basically the same thing. Tons of options for you. Mavs boom. Enjoy Kefka. I've wanted to build a Kefka deck for a while now. Unfortunately, what part of the brief for this bracket 4 deck was not Kefka. It was like 4 commanders they didn't want me to build, so I'm not building Kefka, but otherwise I would probably be building Kefka. It's so strong. Bing Bong's got it right. Kefka is just wildly broken. You play the card, you make a bunch of value. You do anything to the card, you attack with it, you flicker it. It's just wild. Hey, Auburn. I'm behind chat, but hello. Radium, that meme is from Chocolate Rain, my friend. Meep Tim, you just traded precons with a friend and got an Eshki or any precon out of it. Any recommendations for commanders and or fun cards? I think Eshki's more fun than Ureni. One moment, please. Buffering. Yeah, Ureni's way too slow, I think. Which Eshki was it? It's Eshki Tima's Raw, right? I assume so because it's the full art. Yeah, it is. Eshki Tima's Raw is the way better commander. And it's pretty broken. Just you read Eshki and you do what the card wants to do and you are going to have a good time. Hoptrition, hello, if you're still here. I know we're new people, I think you're new, but if you jump in and you drop a question, you might not stick around for 11, 12 minutes to get an answer. Henzi is a very solved commander, Hoptrition. If you go onto YouTube and you type in Henzi, almost any of the decks will tell you what you want to do. Like, if I go into EDH Rec right now, because of the way that Henzi is, like when I say solved, like most Henzi decks are going to want to do the same thing. They're going to want to ramp, and they're going to want to play big creatures, blitz in big creatures, have those creatures die and get value. That's literally it, and maybe some reanimation on the back end. Almost all Henzi decks will run all of these cards. Like, the thought of going, I play maybe 5 mana for a Tree Shaker Chimera, it comes in hasted, I destroy a bunch of someone's creatures, I draw 3 cards. I reanimate it for 1 mana. I do it like it's just, yeah. The Henzi deck kind of wants to play itself. You make a bunch of big creatures for cheaper. They have haste. You hit someone, you get value. You reanimate them. Yeah. Well, if you want a different take on a Henzi deck, I'm gonna show you this. This video over here, build backward. Was a wrong video. Start over, this one over here. If you watch the start over video, someone gave me a brief to build them a Henzi deck that was different, and I made it an Eldrazi combo deck. So that can give you a completely different angle of where you could go with Henzi, but that's not the normal Henzi deck. The normal Henzi deck is smash people with creatures and ETBs, as you've said. Albert, I need you to stop saying things like frantic search with storm counters, please, because the thought of building this deck is getting very exciting. For Prime's benefit, I might just be cooking up a storm deck. Auburn, look at my budget Azula list. Because a lot of the cards, let me show you if you haven't seen this. Also, I welcome thoughts, by the way, on these streams. Any feedback, how you find the cadence, whether it's working, not working, what you like, don't like. Right now, I'm just going let's ask some questions and yap a bit, but if you have anything structured you'd like, let me know. What was I going to show here? What was I showing? Azula, that's the one. So, where is Azula? There she is. Why is the deck list 100? Oh, there we go. It's 5 cards in the sideboard. So this is it's rocketed to $300. It was $200. But look at this list of cards. A lot of the stuff in here is pretty cheap. Probably the only non-negotiables are the win conditions, and some of the tutors. But you can see what you need from the video. lot of the stuff you could be without Mystical Tutor, I think. For example, that's $22 shaved off right there. But this deck is, if you're trying to play the combo angle, look at that. Tiny Bones, Dandelion, Tiny Bones, Bauble Commander, Bauble Burglar is cool. I like Tiny Bones. I've wanted to make a discard deck for a long time, but people don't like discard, so. Ooh, Albert, I love Eluge a lot. I have a personal list for Eluge. It was basically my Simon the Wild Magic Sorcerer deck, but I just changed it to Eluge. As a fellow frog enjoyer, you've been playing your Glob control deck. Fibblethip is amazing, included because big spells can be cast and small spells can be plotted. That's cool. I greatly appreciate reference to a frog deck. Auburn, you'd like to see my take on Laughing Jasper Flint? The theft one, right? Creatures you control but don't own are mercenaries. At the beginning of the upkeep, exile top X cards of your library, X number of outlaws you control. Until the end of the turn, you may cast spells and... Oh, that's cool. Yeah, interesting. When the... Imagine giving this as a... Imagine getting this as a prize if you win something. That is not ideal. Yeah, this is cool. I like this. Probably a really fun bracket 2 deck, to be honest. Very too weak for bracket 3, but fun for bracket 2. Nathan, hello. You're trying to build Verak as Orzhov Landfall. Verak. Oh, Verak, right. As Orzhov Landfall. Verak is cool. I've seen... My friend has a Verak deck. Makura, how do I feel about Tanuk as red bracket 4? I don't think it's strong enough. My problem with Tanuk in red, so I have a love-hate relationship with Tanuk. My problem with Tanuk is the following. I'm gonna look at this art of it. My problem with Tanuk is other creatures you control have haste. Artifact and or red creature cards in your hand have warp 3 mana. So the problem is, you have to get to 4 mana to play Tanuk. Maybe you play him on turn 3 on average. The next turn, you can start sneaking in big creatures. The problem though is that I don't think there are that many creatures that are worth sneaking in. Most big red creatures kind of suck. Like if we go and look at this. Oh, 1 second. I think I hear my doorbell. Give me 1 second. Right, we're back. The problem I have with Tanuk, I'm gonna go to advanced, is that I don't know how many great creatures we have that we can fetch. So if we just go red and we leave colorless creatures can be in here, we're gonna get a bunch of Eldrazi, but it's fine. We're gonna go creatures, and we're gonna go mana value. We can sort mana value in a second. Mana value descending. Now we're going to ignore the Eldrazi. No, mana value descending. Descending. We'll get there. So we can get a 9/9. Yeah, it's mid. We can get a Blightsteel Colossus, so that's one thing we can get. Fair enough, that's very good. Sandraco, not worth it. We can get a Darksteel Colossus, so these two we can get. A 10-10 doesn't really matter. Mycosynth Golem could be interesting, but it doesn't really do much. A 12-12 is fine. Dragon Tyrant, a 6-6 Flying Trample double strike that we have to sacrifice in our upkeep. It's pretty bad. Greater Gargadon, a 9-7. Margin Infinite Rage. That's not much. So you see what I mean? Like, what are the big creatures that we're bringing in with Tanook that are like Cavernhor Dragon, maybe, but we're only having it for one turn, right? So like, I feel like as I go through this, there's not in mono red, there's not a lot of really good artifact or red creatures that come in, have a big impact on that turn, and then give us value, because that's what I feel like we need to do. They need to like win us the game, or they need to give us like cards or something. So I feel for that, I have a love-hate relationship with Tanook because I feel like he's good and bad at the same time. CLDY, you stopped playing Aragorn because your friends hated it. Why did they hate it? Did they hate it because of the VV interaction, or just did they not like it because you were commander damaging them? What's the reason they don't like Aragorn deck? I find that, at least in my experience, most of my friends like it because it's like, it's a bunch of interaction, but it's not very oppressive. I guess the VV and the Curiosity line kind of makes it a bit more. Depending when you built the Aragorn deck. If you built it in the early days, then it would be it wouldn't be too strong. If you built it now, it's probably quite strong. Yeah, Albert, people will kick you if you play VV, that's true. Dandelion, have I ever looked at Vihan? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. So I helped someone with a Vihan deck before. I don't know if it's on my Architect publicly. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. So Vihan. That doesn't bode well, does it? One moment, please. Let's give it a quick scroll. See if we can find him. I definitely did a Vihan deck review for someone. Or was Vihan in the Olivia deck? Maybe it's that I'm thinking of. Could be this. Is it this? One moment, please. No, I'm pretty sure it was a Vihan deck. So yes, I have, but not in a long time, to answer your question. Victor Berge, what is better for me, an enabler commander or a payoff commander? As you'll often get from me when someone asks me a question, it depends. Depends what you're trying to build and why. And I think if your question is what is better, again, it also depends. There's no easy way to answer that question. Both are good in different ways. If you clarify what direction you're asking that question, like it's just from general being good or what the context is, then I could maybe answer it in a better way. But I think they're both good. The only problem with the payoff commander is that you obviously have to have the prerequisites in play for it to pay off. So in that way, enabler is probably better. But yeah, Albert, it's the benefit of being old. I remember stuff like chocolate. Yeah, don't tell me that it's 20 years old. I know it's 20 years old. I know Tezonde's Chocolate Rain is 20 years old, unfortunately. I had someone that talked to me about building a Dr. Eggman deck, Zara's kid. I don't think it was you, but Dr. Eggman's cool. I wish it wasn't Dr. Eggman. I wish it was an in-universe card, but at the beginning of your end step, draw a card. Then each opponent faces a villainous choice. That player discards a card, or you may put a construct, robot, or vehicle card from your hand into the battlefield. I feel like in almost all cases, people are probably going to discard a card, and that's going to be underwhelming, because what you really want is to put stuff into play. But maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, don't worry, Albert. I feel that. Like, I go in two directions. On the one hand, I'm very Golgari. Like, that's my graveyards and stuff from the graveyard. And then on the other side, I'm a blue player. Like, I love both of those things probably equally. It's no surprise that in 60 card Pauper, I play Dimir. Because it's like the two. It's graveyard interactions and drawing cards. And like those two things. If I can draw cards, partially why I love Pauper so much. I'm just so happy. Okay, great, Hoptrician. Yeah, Hoptrician, you will find that there's very few ways to build a Henzi deck badly. Even just the cards in EDH Rec will already make a good deck. And it's such a widely built commander that, like, it's, as I said earlier about a different commander, it's basically solved. Well, Ross, I'm glad you enjoy Urini. Yeah, Alceus 58. Alceus? Yeah, it's some of these cards just, I think it's Modern that pushes the card prices up like that. Because believe me, when I built the Stellar Elite deck, it was $100. And now it's not. Don Jogo, any thoughts on a fun Sliver Bracket 3 deck? You're not going to have any friends if you play Slivers. Unfortunately. Yeah, it's tough because I feel like Slivers is one of those decks where people can't leave you alone because you will just dominate the game. But it's also kind of one-dimensional. I think if you lead into the Sliver Commander, whatever it was, the one that was printed recently, the Encore one, that could be quite fun. Let's just type Sliver in, it'll come up. Sliver Grave Mother. Maybe I'll just type Grave Mother in here. So I think this could be quite fun to have it. Like, if you don't have the most broken Slivers in the command zone, I think it could be quite fun. And the problem is that a lot of the time you just have the most broken Cascade Sliver in the command zone and it just becomes a mess. It's a bit like playing Dragon. So this is a bit more interesting where maybe, you know, you can have self-mill and then get stuff from value from your graveyard and have Slivers that do things. Maybe that's a better angle. The problem is that fun and Slivers very rarely go in the same sentence. Penguin Zombie. One moment, please. I might have something for you. Perhaps, maybe. Perhaps, maybe, perhaps. How do I spell Callaphe? I have a friend that's got a Callaphe deck. So perhaps if you Penguin Zombie, if you go into my Discord and you go into the Notice Me Senpai channel and you just type Penguin Zombie, so that I know who you are. If your Discord name is different, because often they are, I will send you my friend. If he has it, I'll send you my friend's Callaphe deck list. It's a bracket 2 list, but I think it'll give you some good bones to go on if you're building that deck or want to build it. Ross Fortunately for you, you need no other tutors than Waterlog Teachings to win with with the Zula. Hey, Peter. You've been thinking about building a Magnus Marnius Colgar deck as bracket form, focusing on artifact tokens, trying to copy some Malachrum synthesizer. There are some big words in this deck name. Oh man, that's such a cool card. Whenever another artifact with mana 3 red into the battlefield, create a da 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 da. Yeah, that's wild. That's a wild card. Double strike. Whenever one or more tokens into the battlefield you control. Yeah, that's cool. I like that idea. Rondes, yeah, Zulu is very cool. Auburn, you probably have 4 game changers in your deck. And it's already put you in bracket 4. Oh yeah, Russ. Omo is very cool. Probably too open-ended, but very cool. Nos Theory. Otsai is very cool. I like Otsai. And there's a lot of really cool cards in the set. In the Avatar set. Again, I feel like this is a low power commander, but a very cool low power commander. Albert, you keep committing crimes. You said the words giggling skitterspike in front of me. It is a crime. Benjamin Castro, you want to build a group hog deck with the Mardu Squall, and you'd love to hear my thoughts on how to build it. Well, I can give you some thoughts. Not too many thoughts because I'm still behind chat, but oh yeah, wrong Squall, sorry. You want to build him as a group hug deck. Why as a group hug deck? Nothing, so at least for me, Ben, nothing about Squall says group hug. I'm all for trying to like break cards in ways they weren't intended to be used. It's like one of my favorite things, but Squall's whole thing is whenever a creature attacks one of your opponents, if they have a power and toughness equal to that number, Squall's dealing damage. There's no way that like, you could put group hug cards in the deck, but your commander is in nowhere group hug commander. So I feel like you're better off choosing a different group hug commander. Oh, Makura, it's an absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. I'm going to refill my water quickly, and then I'll try and catch up with the last 10 minutes of chat. Be right back 1 sec. I need to set up cat cameras for the streams. Or I have in a little corner. My cat's sleeping next to me. I reckon that would go hard. Yeah, CLDY, I get what you mean. Yeah, Josh, I was pretty sure Vhom was in the deck I was looking at, but I couldn't see it. Blind. Yeah, CLDY, if you're taking long turns, regardless of what deck you play, that'll probably get you. Hello, Red Moon. Welcome. Auburn Tay Zonde follow you on Twitter. What were you doing on Twitter that prompted Tay Zonde to follow you? Do you know? That's a very cool little Easter egg. I like that. Yeah, good shout, Zaris Kid. Okay, we're only 8 minutes behind chat. This must be a record. Yeah, Synthesizer is such a cool card. I really like it. Albert, there was a deck that I had Giggling Skitterspike in recently that I helped someone build or review. Oh, we've caught up to chat. We've caught up. This is one of those rare times I've caught up to chat. Let's do this. See if I can. See if I can magic up a cat cat. Let's see. Can I magic up a cat cam? I guess we're gonna find out. So if I now do this. Do some stream engineering. Go here. And then add a source. Video capture device. Why is this upside down? That's not helpful. Cat cam. Upside down cat cam. Oh, actually, can I do this? Hold on. Let's see if I can do this. 1 second. Surely I can rotate this. Can I grab it and rotate it? Properties. You think there would be an easy just like rotate button? Oh, there we go. We got it. We got it. Cat cam. Success. Working him out. at my own peril, I've woken him up. Now he's gonna want love. Okay, cat cam cancelled. He's gonna get in the way now. Don't sit in my water. The toe fluff is insane with this cat. This is now no longer a magic stream, it's a cat stream. Get the mic out the way though. There we go. We'll play the cat bongos. He almost fell off my desk. Hey Floof, come here. No, you can't have my water, come here. Are you coming back? Okay. Let me lie this cat down. Here we go. Hey Lordy, how you doing? Welcome to the Magic Cat stream. The most scuffed, quick webcam cat on camera setup. I doubt he's gonna stay there for long. Yeah, okay, so I think arguably the two strongest contenders that I've seen so far for this possible bracket 4 brew are a Sammy deck. So if I go, are you going away? What are you doing? You coming back? Turn off my noise gate so people can hear you purring. Hello, Sarah. He is definitely not a good cat. He is a nightmare, but he is also my firstborn child. So love him very much, despite the fact that he's an idiot. My second cat is the good child, but we love him very much despite his shortcomings. Floof? Zoom out. Not allowing me. I'll just like no zooming out for you. You don't have to manually zoom out. And try not to knock over everything. Hello? You happy? You're famous. Yeah, so I think Sammy is probably the Sammy and Storm are probably the two highest potential so far. The only problem I found with Storm is like I feel like it's gonna be one of those decks that people aren't gonna love playing against because it's gonna do the same thing every game. And like, okay, Storm is on board, Storm has not died. Storm is going to attack, and I'm gonna cast spells for 10 minutes and either not win or not win. And like that's not necessarily the best experience. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts on Storm? Hey Zimri. So I have not normally put the cats on camera, but he was around and I figured, you know, why not? I got to the end of catching up with chat, so I was just having a breather because I've been yapping for like 2.5 hours straight. Yeah, but it's a Storm deck, right? Like that's... But I mean, in bracket 4, everyone's committing crimes, right? So like, bracket 4, probably fine. Only problem is I wish that I wish there was an in-universes version that wasn't Storm. Not that I hate Universes Beyond. If you're regularly here, you know I don't dislike Universes Beyond. At least the good ones, but I feel like Storm could be an really cool in-universes version of that card. To be fair, I actually think that in that deck, there won't be a 20-minute turn because I think the casting it'll actually happen fairly fast. Like, I think you could build it that like the moment you get to like 7 or 8 storm count, I think you just win. And it's not a complicated line. You go ritual, draw card, find tutor, play WinCon. I think I'm definitely going to build that. Whether or not it becomes the deck, I don't know, but I'm definitely going to build it. Hey, Floof. What do you want? Yeah, you're not wrong, Zimri. If it sticks around if it sticks around in bracket 4, it really is the person's fault. You gonna go lie down? Okay, now we just get some zoom going on here if we can. Zoom in on this. Maybe it won't allow me to. Is a window open? Oh, there it is. The window's already open. Yeah, he's very cute. He's getting annoyed with me. I'll stop. Yeah, I think Auburn, you're right. I think it's bracket 4 for sure. And I think yeah, Storm in bracket 4 is not a problem. Yeah, he loves biting. He gets annoyed and then he starts biting. Okay, let me have a quick scroll through. I'm going to scroll through EDH very quickly and see if I can spot any commanders that might be interesting. It's probably the last thing I'll do. But again, if there's questions, you are more than welcome to, like Alkias has, hit me with a question. Have I built Jolrail? Jolrail? Jolrail. No. This Jolrail? Monvuli Recluse? Some really cool art. Whenever you draw a second card each turn, create a cat. I have not built this, if this is the one you mean. For the Panthers. Yeah, it's cool. Looks like it's not super strong. Probably bracket 3, I reckon. Maybe bracket 2. But it looks cool. Sarah, you have pulled Prismari, and you want to build a deck around Prismari. Maybe I can type Prismari properly. That'll help. Oh, sorry. I was in the wrong scene. One moment. Now we have to add the cat cam to the browsing scene. Video capture device. Existing. Yeah. One moment. Oh, it's upside down again now. So let me have a look. I mean, so similar, Sarah, to what we were just talking about Storm, like once you have Prismari active, if they don't just eat a removal spell immediately and you manage to keep them protected, you can really cast pretty much anything. The only thing I would say with this is that, so I don't know if you were here for the Storm conversation. So we were talking about, one second. I mean, you could go back as well, but I'll rehash it quickly. So we were talking about perhaps building a Storm deck. Really, I should type in the full name, but I'm half committed. So some cost fallacy is gonna kick in. I have to go and actually find the card manually now. Where are you? Storm. Where is she? Must be over here somewhere. Did I pass it already? There we go. Storm Force of Nature. So, the idea for Storm Force of Nature that I was thinking was like having a bunch of cards that are mana generation cards. So rituals. So things like Seething Song, for example, or Manamorphose. I'll bring up Manamorphose quickly so you can see that. So like if you had to play Manamorphose and you've got a storm count of 5, for example, you make 10 mana. So you have a net of 8 plus mana and you draw 5 cards. It's a pretty good deal. But I think that the way I think this would work, and I think it's true for either of these decks, obviously you can't play Manamorphose in a Prismari deck in Commander unless they change the color ruling. But what I would think about is cheap spells, probably ones that draw you cards, to be honest. So things like Brainstorm or Preordain or Serum Vision, stuff like that. And then cards that add mana. So Seething Song, Pyretic Ritual, those kinds of cards. Because what you want to do is make a bunch of mana, be able to draw a bunch of cards to draw into your win condition. And I think for either of these decks, a win condition can be anything that's creating an instant speed problem. So for example, if you can make hasty creatures from a spell, especially with Prismari, it has to be an instant or sorcery. So either like, you could literally go something like this. If you cast this or any of the similar burn spells, you could cast Gyre's Immolating Inferno for 5 damage. And then you only have to have a storm count of about 7 or 8 to win the game, which is very achievable, right? Because if you go card draw spell, ritual, another card draw spell, another ritual, it's very quickly you're going to get to that 7 or 8 mark. So that's probably what I would think about when you're storming out. You probably want mana generation and you probably want cheap counter spells, cheap card draw, maybe some tutors, some win conditions. I think it's fine for bracket 3 because remember that Prismari costs 7 mana. So even if you're ramping in these colors, I think the only thing I would caution you on is if you are playing Prismari in bracket 3, if you get Prismari out on turn 4 and you're able to protect it, like let's say you go Seething Song, let's say you play a Mana Rock on turn 2, you have 4 mana up on turn 3, you play something else, turn 4, you go Seething Song, Prismari, suddenly on turn 5 you could probably win the game, and that's too early for bracket 3. So I would be cautious. Either in the way you play the deck, so you just don't win that early, if you luck into that draw, because obviously there's very few times you're going to have that available to you, But yeah, I would say I think it's fine for bracket 3. Just be cautious of your fastest win lines. At least that you don't, like, let's say for example, if you have, you know that there's only one line in your deck, you draw Mana Geyser, for example, and that's how you win the game on turn 5. You don't play Mana Geyser if you draw it on turn 5. But I think it's fine. I think it's a good bracket 3 commander. Thank you, Albert. I realized before I got caught up with chat. Albert, which ring are you talking about with the octopus? Meeptim, do you think it's worth copying Garland, or should you focus on other theft cards? Garland, Royal Kidnapper. Man, what a cool card. When Garland enters, target opponent becomes the monarch. If an opponent becomes the monarch, you gain control target that player controls, as long as they are the monarch. Do you think it's worth copying him? Do I think it's worth copying him? I mean, there's not a whole lot of theft cards. I suppose there are theft cards in blue. Like red is like the big theft color. I mean, there's only a couple of ways you can copy him, right? There's maybe like 5 or 6 ways. I think they're both achieving the same thing, so I don't think it really matters, to be honest. Ooh, Saint. Oh, hello, Saint. Man, we need to get a game of Magic in. Do you know the last time you bumped me? I still haven't played a game of Commander since then. That's a good question, Saint. My favorite MTG card art. Old border foils versus full art foils. What's my most blinged out deck? Okay, wow, that's a lot. Favorite Magic card art is a really difficult question to answer. I think for me, a lot of it comes down to reminiscing and like old cards. Like, you know, when I started playing, I absolutely love cards like Psychotog. Just iconic art. Not this. This is garbage. Why would they do such a thing? But like old cards, especially around the Odyssey time, I have a lot of love for cards from this time. That doesn't, however, I don't think that those are the best art. My favorite art in Magic is the Strixhaven Mystical Archives Japanese printings. Without a doubt, that's my favorite art in Magic. So if I find that, let's go over here. Strix, 1 second. There we go. So these arts are without a doubt my favorite art in Magic. I just love this Japanese style inspired art. Probably there's so much good art in Magic. I can't believe you asked me a question like this. I love this Brainstorm. This Brainstorm over here. I have a playset of them. I want to get them in foil, but they are arguably my favorite. I have, so this is funny, you probably wouldn't have seen it, but in Pauper, obviously famous cheap format Pauper, I run 4 of these in my deck. So here are my Brainstorms. Favorite card probably in all of Magic. I think this is probably the prettiest card that I have. Plays into what I like. But these are incredibly pretty. Probably the prettiest foiling I have seen on a Magic card. These counterspells are $50 each. So rapidly, my Pauper Dimir control deck might end up being a deck that I bling out a lot. Not a commander deck even, but I run these in my Pauper Dimir control deck, and I absolutely love them. Yeah. These cards and the new ones as well are just incredible. If I go to look at the new ones, so I have to do Secrets of Strixhaven. Like, I actually wouldn't mind getting a set of each card from that and just putting them in a frame on my wall. Or both of these, Secrets of Strixhaven and Strixhaven. But yeah, they're just Japanese-inspired woodblock prints are just incredible. I like this. I like the whatever it's called, the bounce spell, Psych Rift. But yeah, just all of this is just such beautiful art. Just incredible stuff. So yeah, these are my favorites. But there are tons of cards that I've probably forgotten that I'm not thinking about right now that are some of my favorite arts in Magic. My most blinged out deck is probably my Dragon deck. But I don't actually have a really blinged out deck. Like, I've got some pretty cards in my Dragon deck, but none of them are necessarily all foiled out or all blinged out. Yeah. Good question though, Jesus. And I love art in Magic so much. It's so cool. There's just so much cool art. And like, old foils, I like way more than new foils. Just way more. It is so pretty. Zimri, you want to build a Nita Forum console? What are you? Whilst I'm going to answer this question. What are your favorite art from Magic in the chat? Hit me with your favorite cards. I can go look at them afterwards. What are your favorite arts in Magic? Same to you, Saint. What's your favorite art? Is your Marchesa deck the most blinged out deck now? Or Slimefoot and Squee, right? That's probably the most blinged out one if that's where you put the altars. So whenever you cast a spell you don't own, put a 1/1 counter each creature, sacrifice another creature, exile target instant sorcery from their graveyard. Oh, that's cool. You're not sure where to go with it. Trying to stay on the cheaper side in terms of budget. Any advice? Probably bracket 3. I mean, firstly, Nita says sacrifice another creature. The first thought for me here is tokens, because you can sacrifice tokens. So yeah, anything that generates tokens would go really well here. And that'll obviously, if you're making a big board of tokens, you know, you're using spells that make lots of tokens, getting the +1/1 counter on each creature is really impactful. You might also need some discard or some milling of some kind to get stuff into your opponent's graveyards, other than them just casting them. That could be another part of this deck you might want to look into. But I think that's really cool. The only issue with this is it's only activate only as a sorcery, so you can't use it for stuff like counter spells and interaction. So you need to think about your win condition. Like, what is your win condition? Is it the wide board of creatures? Is that your win condition? But yeah, I like it. It's cool. Oh yeah, I get you, Albert. MLW Bad Luck. Any advice on making Jeskai Spirit Tribal? What is your commander? Or do you not have a commander in mind? Kaikar? Is that how you spell it? I mean, Kaikar is probably a good commander for that. And then Kaikar kind of tells you what it wants to do, right? Wants you to cast lots of non-creatures, make a bunch of spirits, use those spirits to cast spells. Expedition Polluted Delta is a beautiful card. I've got a set of the Onslaught ones as a flex because that's from when I was playing Magic a lot when I started. This is Expeditions, right? This the one? Yeah. Was it this one? Very cool. Saint, you know, you're probably not wrong. Pretty close to. Well, yeah, Zimri. Pauper is cheaper to bling out, except when you buy 4 $50 counter spells. Less cheap to bling out. But yeah, like when I say bling out Pauper, like I saw a guy at my locals this week, and he was playing an Ultratron deck, which is basically like your goal is to play and recur a bunch of Mirror Enforcers, Mirror Retrievers, and combo out. But he had a whole bunch of altars in his deck. Some really cool altars. Pretty cool. Yeah, but the Ad Nors is incredibly pretty in the Mystical Archives. So, Auburn, I would say the foils, the art has improved, but I don't think the foiling has improved. The old foils are just incredible. Like, let me see if I'm gonna see if I can dig out something quickly. Give me 1 sec. Like, I'm gonna hit you with a flex. I don't know if you'd call this a flex, but this card has no right. It has no right being as expensive as it is, but this card, I can hit you with it. Well, let me make this bigger so I can actually see what's going on here. 1 moment, please. I'm gonna need to actually look at this. And it's still gonna be really small, but at least I can see it. I don't know if this will actually focus on it, but let's pull this out of the way. Yeah, the lighting's not really coming up, but this is a foil Call of the Herd. I had this from when I started playing Odyssey. I pulled this, and yeah, you really can't see the foiling on this as well as it shows up in person. But these old foils are just, there's something about them. This card, because old foils are rare, and Call of the Herd was a pretty popular card, is ridiculously expensive. Now I'm going to look it up, tell you. Have a think about how much you think that foil Call of the Herd is worth. And bear in mind, it's a card that makes an elephant token, and you can flash it back for 4 mana. It's the 3 mana card, make an elephant token, 3/3 elephant, flash it back for 4 mana. It's not broken at all. But because old foils are hard to come by, you think about how much that card is, and I will show you in a second. I'm going to go in. Odyssey, Call of the Herd. Can I flick this to foil? How do I do that? I don't think I can flick it to foil, can I? No, that's not doing it. Go back. Should probably know how to flick this card to foil. If anyone knows how to do this in foil, tell me, but I shall just Google it. Call of the Herd Odyssey foil price. Just a cheap 279 US dollars. I have no idea why this card is so expensive. It must be for vibes, but hey. Anyway, old foils. Very cool. Oh, Portal Manowar is pretty. Portal is a very soft spot in my heart. Ooh, Mavs Boom. Yeah, the Kellogg Soups art's sick. Kellogg Soups lives in Australia. So at all the Magic events that we have here, the Command Fests and things like that, they show their art and sell playmats and sign things. I had a Kellogg Soups Ugin playmat. So I had this playmat. Where is it? This one. I had this playmat. that, well, it wasn't a pro to a champion playmat, but Kellogg Soup sells playmats with this on, and he signed it for me. And I, as a gift, sent it to everyone's favorite person in my Discord, Vegabee. So Vegabee now has a signed Kellogg Soups. I don't know if he actually knows it's signed, but signed Kellogg Soups playmat for this Ugin. It's very cool. 64 comment. What's good mill in Orzhov? I have absolutely no idea. It'll be the black cards, black stealth mill. Probably things like surveilling. There'll be a bunch of surveil stuff in black. Baby Nicol Bolas, that is cool. There's a really cool in my dragon deck. There is this card. Let me see if I can find it. Nicol Bolas the Ravager. This one. I have this in my dragon deck. I love it so much. I love the secret lair. Very cool. Big fan. Nuns with Guns. Firstly, great name. Yeah, the old foils can warp a little bit. I mean, any foils Magic makes are going to warp a little bit, to be fair. It really depends on the foil. Depends on the environment. What is Teferi's Veil? 64 comment. Whenever any creature you control attacks, it phases out at the end of combat. That does seem pretty good. The only problem is that you can't block with it then, so I guess that might be why. But for a Voltron deck, you're right. It does seem pretty good. Yeah, Auburn. Those old foils go hard. I think I have a 6th edition foil Chill. Wonder how much that's worth. Probably not that much. Pyroclasm is probably a bit more. This Chill in foil. I seem to think it was black border, but maybe it's a Tempest foil. Either way, I have one of these kicking around somewhere. These were worth nothing back in the day. Much like a Rhystic Study was like 50 cents in the bulk bins. Sarah, your favorite art is Lathiel Boundless Dawn. Bounteous Dawn. Have a look. Oh, that's cool. Do you mean the alt arts or the original? Multiverse Legends. Okay, let's have a look which one this is. I really like this. I don't know if you mean this or the original printing. Guess it's this one, right? That's really cool. It's the cool thing about Magic as a platform is there's so many cool artists that have made art for Magic. Ah, Josh, it's played in pre-modern. Well, I better sell it while pre-modern is still popular. Makura, what do I feel like are viable bracket 4 strategies? Does seem like mostly just combo. Are there other strategies you feel can be viable? No. Bracket 4 is a combo place. Even if you're winning via combat damage, you'll typically do that via some form of combo, creating a wide board of creatures or infinite power and toughness. The speed bracket 4 plays at simply requires that you win by combos, which is just how I don't think it's a bad thing. It just is the way of the world when it comes to bracket 4. Anthem of Rakdos. I always find it so interesting what different people see in card art and what makes it their favorite, because this is very cool art, but it definitely wouldn't be my favorite. But I'm glad that it's yours. Like, I can see what I will say for this art is it feels very like you feel in the picture. Like, it's very evocative. Like, you could almost imagine yourself being in this scene. Yeah, Auburn, looking at your bulk is important. Dandy Penguin. Good name, firstly. What do I think about Kellogg? Great cereal. 30 First strike haste when he attacks, make a treasure token, sacrifice 5 treasures. Yeah, I think he's better in the 99. Like, if you're... The way I think about this is, like... You sacrifice treasures, 5 treasures, you steal a creature. The creature's only yours for as long as you control Killock. Someone can just remove your commander and then get the creature back. They're incentivized to remove your commander. That's bad. But also, sacrificing 5 treasures could play a really cool spell. So the opportunity cost of stealing the creature is actually pretty high. So I think he's okay, but not that great. Auburn, you've gotten into making your own custom sleeve art, waiting for Dragonfield to deliver. Oh, that's cool. Auburn, are you an artist? Because I've been looking through some altars. You do altars? And I'll probably wrap up soon, by the way, just as a heads up. It's been a long 3 hours. Getting hungry. You need some lunch. But yeah, I have 2 tasks that I want to do right now. I want to get a bunch of cards altered, and I need to sell the Magic collection that I decided I was going to sell about 9 months ago. I've got a lot of cards I need to sell. I need to organize some more cards and then sell off the bulk of my collection that I don't use. And then I want to make some alters, both for my Pauper deck, but also for my Commander deck. Well, Commander decks that I'm keeping. But yeah, I think with a card like Kilog, it is often a problem where, like, the ceiling of the power of the card, unless it's like I've talked about this before, which the word is probably incorrect, but like I use the term multiplicative versus linear. Kilog is a linear commander. He does one thing, it's predictable, it doesn't multiply with anything else. Like, yes, Kilog would multiply if you make 50 treasures, but if you're making 50 treasures, you can win the game already. It's very limited, whereas other cards, like if you play Miriam as a commander and you're making tons of dragons, well, suddenly those dragons have ETBs and it becomes a multiplicative thing. Yeah, I would say for if anyone wants to print proxies, Make Playing Card is very good. They are probably the ones I would trust the most. Or if you don't know, it's called NPC Autofill. These guys are based in Hong Kong, I think, or China. And they print, like, they're a major printer of traditional playing cards, so non-magic cards, and they are pretty easy to make proxies with, so I've used them. Their proxies look great. A lot of my lands in Commander are proxied because I'm not going to spend, if I'm making a 4-color deck, I'm not going to spend $500 on a mana base for 5 decks. Obviously proxy responsibly, don't make counterfeits, but if you're making proxies, I've used them. Site, probably the last question I'll answer, and then I'm going to dip, because I imagine it's getting late for the US as well, but what are the types of control in Magic the Gathering? Yeah, Mitsu, you are correct. You actually have to have a big enough water to make it economical. What are the types of control in Magic? I don't know. I don't quite know what you mean. What do you mean by the types of control? Mitsu, why are you proxying basic lands? Don't do that. Ooh, this is cool. Thank you, Kellogg Sloops. Man, I actually, you know what I like more than Ugin? I like this the most at the bottom of this. So that it's got big Dan vibes. I wonder if I can get Kellogg Sloops to do an altar for me. Are in Australia. I could probably get to them. Stake outside of their house. Oh man, imagine just having Gaia's cradles lying around Oberyn. Oh, that's cool, Mitsu. Well, that makes sense, yeah. Hey, Wolfie. Yeah, you can throw a bracket 4 commander at me if you want. I'm winding down the stream, but you are welcome to throw a bracket 4 commander at me. So far, the winners, or the most likely ones, are Sammy, Wildcat, or Storm. The Universes Beyond Storm. This one. Storm Force of Nature. But you're welcome to throw a contender in the ring. Wonder if it's unlikely, because I imagine Kellogg's Thieves could just make art themselves and make money off of it. Surely they're... Do you make altars? Oh, it doesn't say anything about altars. I guess not. Man, what art. Just incredible art. Oh, the Dan. These islands, the islands that have these on, these I would proxy. These are basics I would proxy, because these islands, the Dan Secret Lair, are like 10 out of 10. No notes. Massfed. Estrid? Which Estrid is this? Estrid the Masked? Okay, sight. We got there. What are some ways control decks actually control? Like some decks control the game by pinning creatures down or using instants to react. Oh yeah, I get what you mean. I think it depends on the colors you're in. Like if you're playing a Golgari deck, you're using killing spells, perhaps chump blockers. You're playing Orzhov, again, killing spells, hand disruption. Same for Golgari, hand disruption, small blockers. If you're playing blue, counter spells, stunning. If you're playing red, probably things like stealing creatures, causing chaos, wheels, stuff like that. Changing spell targets. If you're playing white, you're doing board wipes. Blue, obviously bounce. And there's a load of ways, but I feel like each color has their own ways that they want to control the game. Each color can control to some degree, whilst red has the worst options. But like land destruction is kind of control, because you're controlling what lands people can use. So Lycia Sanguine. I'll be looking for sure. Cost 1 less to cast for each 1 life you gain this turn. First strike lifelink. Pay 5 life with 3 1/1 counters on Lycia. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. I mean, I feel like if you're gaining a lot of life, you could make her real big, real quick. The problem is, like, most Voltron, because I imagine it's a Voltron strategy, right? And like, if you're playing a Voltron strategy, you need 3 turns to win typically. So yeah, Mutsu, don't you worry. I will be asking. Okay, Albert. It's a great last question for me to end on. Is there any way to get me to review a deck and give you thoughts on one of your decks if you are poor? yes, you can put it in the Discord and at me and hope that I find some time. That's probably the best way. If I feel guilty enough, I'll do it. Or I'll give some quick thoughts. I definitely won't do a whole review like I normally do. That's probably the best thing to do. Put it in the Discord or message me. I would love to spend more time helping. Like when I originally made the brewing channel, my intention was to be in there a lot. But at the moment, I have so much going on between... I'm currently on a career break and I'm starting to look for new jobs. So I'm job hunting. I'm making videos. I'm trying to start a second channel that's focused around music. I am doing deck reviews, which I love, but every time I think I'm free, I've got a new deck review to do. There's all this stuff in the background that's bubbling up. But you are welcome to ask me, and at the very least, I might jump in if I have a couple of minutes and give you some quick thoughts. There's no harm in asking. Ross, do you say you have a Jurassic Park deck that's worth $30,000? Thanks, Mitsu. I appreciate it. It's a time out there at the moment. Like, I never had any aspirations to do content full time, but increasingly, despite someone that has a really good CV for what I do, it's tough out there. So I'm increasingly leaning towards trying to start my own business or make money off of content, launch more channels that have a wider reach than Magic. Obviously, I'm still going to do Magic. I love it. I just started a Riftbound channel, which is more of a fun side project because I've started playing Riftbound and I really like it. Ross, did you buy those cards now or did you have those cards from back in the day? I hope it's the latter. Well, actually, no. I hope it's the former because then you're really rich and that's wonderful for you. That's cool. I wish I still had cards from when I played Magic when I was young. But I was poor when I was young. I had no money, or a lot more poor than I am now. Like, I didn't have any money for even a full standard deck at the time. Yeah, he's come back. Tezonde has come back. Tezonde is fucking based, by the way. Like, he's a cool guy. Weird guy, but really cool. Like, his Chocolate Rain was, if you go and look up about actually what Chocolate Rain's about, it's about like really political things. It's not just a dumb song. Like his stuff has always been about, you know, political takes, and it's really interesting. Thank you, Zara's Kid. I appreciate it. Well, look, that's probably a good place to call it. Thank you for hanging out. By all means, let me know in Sight, you and me both. As again, I've said this a few times in some of my content, but as someone that's highly neurodivergent and unmedicated, because I can't be medicated because I have high blood pressure, can't take stimulants. Office jobs and corporate pile structures do not work well for me. So I hope that I get to do something like this full time, but we'll see. We'll see. Trying to make it work in the year of our Lord 2026 when everything costs a lot of money. It's hard, but I guess we'll see. Man, Ross, you were gifted a Gaia's Cradle? I need to know who you hang out with so they can gift me some. Oh, thank you, Sarah. It's an absolute pleasure. But yes, what was I gonna say? What was I saying? I don't know. My mind got sidetracked. Yeah, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. If there's, again, I'm still figuring out streaming, so I'm still figuring out how and when I do this. If you would like more streams, or the times that I stream don't work for you, or you have any thoughts on it at all, by all means. Yeah, there was something I was going to say about putting something in Discord, but I've forgotten. Yeah. Well, thanks for hanging out, everyone. It's as good. Again, I'll see you in at least 2 weeks' time after the next video drops, but maybe sooner. Maybe this is what I was going to say. I think it was this. If it's something you want me to stream about, like if you enjoy me talking about topics relating to Magic that's not necessarily what I do right now, by all means, let me know. I'm figuring this out. But I appreciate you being here. And I will, again, catch you in at least 2 weeks. Maybe sooner. Thank you. And for a bunch of you, good night.